All right, Mark, it's 7 o'clock, so we're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the town council is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of the public will be permitted. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to view this meeting while in progress may do so by watching Southbridge Cable Access Channel 192 or by remote information noted below. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website at www.ci.southbridge.ma.us as soon as we are able. A reminder that a roll call vote is required for all votes taken under this order. Hold on. Trying to get the flag up here like we usually do. Okay. At this time, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Counselor Adams.
Present.
Counselor Catrona.
Present.
Counselor Daniel.
Present.
Counselor Jovan.
Present.
Counselor Lazo. Present. Counselor Marquetti.
Present.
Counselor Nash.
Present.
And Counselor Steves.
Present.
Eight members present, 1 member absent. Item 3A, consider and accept the town council minutes of Monday, June 8th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any errors, corrections, or omissions on those? Anyone? Councilor Steves?
Yeah, 2 minor ones. One on number 12, item number 12. I think the spike in cases question was for me, not Rick, but it might have been from him. And under 31, I would like it to indicate that I was specifically concerned about the militarization of the police, and I saw that that was an aspect of it. Other than that, I didn't have any issues.
Okay. Any other further corrections, omissions, clarifications? Seeing none, roll call to accept those minutes as amended.
Counselor Adams.
Yes.
Counselor Catrona.
Yes.
Counselor Daniel.
Yes.
Counselor Jovan.
Yes.
Counselor Manna. Yes. Counselor Marquetti.
Yes.
Counselor Nash.
Yes.
And Counselor Steves.
Yes.
Thank you. Subcommittee reports, general government, Councilor Steves.
Haven't had any meetings, don't have one scheduled. I will get the year annual review done sometime soon.
Okay. Do you have any minutes outstanding, Council?
I have to double check, I'm not sure.
Okay, if you could just double check, make sure we get those. And Department of Public Works, Councilor Nash.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. Department of Public Works Subcommittee met last Tuesday, June 23rd, to review some outstanding meeting minutes, 3 of which were approved with some amendments. I think 1 item remains, plus the minutes that I took for that evening's meeting. So I'll get those forwarded off as soon as possible. Along with the meeting's minutes that we had to catch up with, that particular evening, we had good discussions relevant to roads, sidewalks, and a bit of education from the Director of Public Works on crosswalks and requirements for crosswalks. So I'd like to thank Councilor Marquetti and Councilor Steves, in addition to Member Bemis and Member Steve Lazo, for a good year. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Education and Human Services, Councilor Lazo's not here, I don't believe. I know he has minutes outstanding, but no meeting scheduled. Plan and Development, Councilor Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, we had a P&D meeting on the 15th of June. Agenda item number 38 is on this evening's agenda, and I do not have one scheduled. The only minutes that are outstanding right now are the ones from June 15th.
Thank you, Council. Protection of Persons and Property, Councilor Manna.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I had no meetings during the last well, I think the whole COVID thing. There are agenda items on the agenda tonight from the police and the fire department, and I will have to look to see if I have any minutes that are outstanding. Thank you. And of course, I don't have any meetings planned.
All right, thank you, Council. Thank you for your work on PPP the last few years. Appreciate all the hard work you do, as this is our last regular meeting of the year. So thank you for all the work, and you, Councilor Nash, as well on DPW. Appreciate all the hard work. Special committee reports, Curbside Advisory Committee, Councilor Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Our last meeting that took place, as previously reported, was on the 2nd of June. Since then, Councilor Marchetti had brought up, did some homework and found out that one of the items that we had talked extensively about, transfer stations, may qualify for a CDBG grant. So I met with Peg and Rosemary last week. They're doing some research for me on that. And so we can add that to our slide when we give the presentation after the new town manager is appointed. Besides that, just working on the memorandum to give to all the councilors along with the that PowerPoint presentation come the new fiscal year. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilor Adams. Next item is the Town Manager Search Committee led by Councilor John Daniel. This was an agenda item that's always been on our agenda, and tonight he has a report to present to the council along with his team, the search committee team that we had put in place, as well as the search consultant, Bernie Lynch. Before Councilor Daniel starts, thank you all for being here tonight. Looking forward to the results of the search. So I'll turn that over to Vice Chairman John Daniel, Chairman of the Search Committee. Councilor Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the council. In late February and early March of 2020, the Town Manager Search Committee was formed and organized. Members of the committee were selected by the chairperson of the Town Council as specified in Chapter 4, Section 1-2 of the Town Charter, with the citizen members being confirmed by the council. Members of the committee are Mr. John Daniel, Chair of the committee and Vice Chair of the Town Council, Mr. Joseph Catrona, Member of the Town Council, and citizen members Ms. Bonnie Lasavio, Mr. Pete Canoyer, and Mr. David Langevin. In the opinion of the Chair of the Search Committee, the wide variety of backgrounds and life experiences of the members made for a diverse group of individuals capable of offering a wide-ranging assortment of viewpoints, leading to a broader, more encompassing evaluation of candidates. As authorized by the aforementioned section of the Town Charter, the committee opted to engage a professional search firm to assist with the search process. As a result of the RFP, Community Paradigm Associates, LLC, was eventually chosen as the firm to assist the committee. Mr. Bernard Lynch is the principal of the firm, and he was assisted by Mr. John Petrin and Ms. Sharon Flaherty. Interviews with members of the Town Council, department heads, and other essential people in town were conducted by the firm. As a result, a listing of qualities and characteristics to be looked for in the next manager was created. Additionally, a position statement and position advertisement were also created. Postings for the manager position were made nationwide and resulted in a total of 28 applicants from throughout New England, seaboard, and west to Nebraska, Texas, and Utah. In keeping with state and federal law, there were no restrictions on who could apply. All applications were welcome. After reviewing the 28 applications, the committee decided to interview 8 semifinalists. Questions were asked by all committee members and members of the Paradigm Associates team to delve further into the qualities of the semifinalists, vis-a-vis the qualities being looked for in an ideal candidate. Interviews were held on June 22nd and June 24, 2020. At the conclusion of the interviews, open, frank, and sincere discussion was had by the committee. After much deliberation, the committee is pleased to bring forward to the council for consideration the following 3 candidates. In alphabetical order are Mr. Michael B. Kramer, former town manager for the town of Carolina Beach, North Carolina. Mr. Thomas M. Garino, former town administrator for the town of Bourne, Massachusetts, and Mr. Michael F. McCall, current assistant town manager for the town of Chelmsford, Mass. The committee is most pleased with having had the opportunity to serve the residents of the town of Southbridge in this very important task, and thanks to town council and the citizens of Southbridge for this privilege. Submitted on behalf of the town manager search committee by me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Daniel. Mr. Lynch, thank you for being here tonight. Do you want to discuss next steps for the council along with Vice Chairman Daniel? Anything you'd like to add, sir?
Certainly. No, I think that the process went very well. I thought we had a very strong field of candidates. I think the screening committee would agree with that characterization. We did conduct the interviews as Councilor Daniels described, and I can assure the council that and the residents of Southbridge that the committee was quite focused and hard-hitting with their questions, really digging into the backgrounds of the candidates and understanding their skills and what they could bring to the position. And I thought the entire process went very well, and I particularly want to thank Councilor Daniels for chairing the committee and doing an outstanding job in doing so. We're currently in a process of pulling together materials on each one of the candidates. We're speaking with references for each candidate. We had already done some preliminary background work, so we're comfortable with the quality of the candidates. We're doing the criminal history checks on each one of the candidates. Those are nationwide criminal history checks, and those are still underway. We're speaking to the references to pull together the information regarding the candidates in terms of the types of projects that they've worked on, their style of managing the communities that they've worked in, and what they could bring to Southbridge. We're pulling all of that together, and we'll be submitting a report to the council probably Wednesday or Thursday of this week, so that the council will have those for the interviews that we have preliminarily scheduled for next week with the council. So happy to take any questions regarding the process and I know that there are a couple of members of the committee here as well that can speak to their, what they went through during this process. But I think the process went very well.
Thank you. Any questions for Councilor Daniel or Mr. Lynch? Okay, seeing none. Councilor Steves, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask to make sure that when we get the materials, are we going to get full resumes and things like that so we can actually make some phone calls on our own?
You will be receiving resumes. You'll be receiving essentially what the committee received, which is the cover letters, the resumes. You'll be receiving a reference report, which outlines the information that we received. These are public documents, so we have to put them together in a way that's appropriate. And I think all of the councilors have my contact information. So between when you get that, or even before that, and the day of the interviews, I'm happy to take any phone calls that people may have regarding the candidates and anything that you are interested in discussing.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Councilor Manna?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Well, thank you all on the search committee for all your effort. I'm sad that I'm not going to be able to be part of the interview process for the candidates you're bringing forward because my term ends tomorrow. But do you have the email addresses with the candidate elects? And have they reached out to you or anything? Or I just want you to be mindful that they're going to need that, I guess, is what I'm saying.
The new council, when you say the candidate, like the new councilors?
Yeah, the new council.
We will be providing this to the council as a whole, which would include the new councilors. Yes.
So, thank you.
I think the plan is to pass this on to Yvonne, and she will distribute accordingly.
Okay.
Yes,
thank you.
that is correct. unfortunately, due to the time and everything, Councilman, we tried to do our best to see if we could try to get this wrapped up by the end of this term. But I think given the challenges that we have with COVID-19 and everything else, we still had quite an aggressive schedule, and still a lot of good, great hard work was done by all the committee members. I have to say that in my experience in the town of Southbridge, this is the first time I think through a search that I have never heard of any of these names. So I thank you all on the committee for the diligence that you put forward in keeping this process the way it's supposed to go. So I appreciate that. So thank you very much for the report. I think our plan is to schedule the interviews to begin, 3 interviews on July 7th, beginning at 5 p.m. And we're going to be working through some challenges, possibly with remote participation for one of the candidates, but the other 2 will be in council chambers on the 7th. That will be the 3 interviews. And then we're tentatively scheduled to have a special town council meeting on July 9th to discuss the interviews that we conducted, and then have a discussion about selection of the candidate that we wish to pursue as town manager. So I think that's the plan. I don't want to haven't gone through searches like on superintendent. Very difficult when you do 3 interviews on a night and then try to discuss it all and try to make a decision that night. So I think it's best that we do the interviews as a council, sit back, reflect for a day or so, and then come back and have a very diligent conversation as to strengths, weaknesses, and make a decision at that point. Any questions of anybody else? Councilor Steves?
I just wanted to come in to say thanks, Jack, for setting it up that way, because that was definitely one of my concerns from the last time we did it.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I think any good search, you really need a day to really look back and maybe even review the video to see if we missed anything and really delve into it. But again, Mr. Canoia, Mr. LoSavio, former chair Langevin, Councilor Daniel, Councilor Catrone, thank you very much for the work that you did on this. Certainly appreciate it, and we look forward to the interviews along with Bernie and your team. Thank you very much for working as quickly as we did to get this search done. So we thank you very much for that.
Sure.
Look forward to seeing you next week. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to COVID-19 public health and safety briefing. Earlier today, we had the Emergency Operations Center meeting to discuss the update as to the COVID-19 situation, specifically here in Southbridge, and how we're going to move forward. And with that, I'm going to turn this over. Chief Norman has been designated as the guest speaker this evening to talk us through what occurred at that meeting. So, Chief, good evening.
Good evening, everybody, councilors and members of the town of Southbridge that are on this meeting tonight. Keep it very brief because obviously we have a very long agenda. The Emergency Operations Center was set up right after Governor Baker declared a state of emergency for the whole state of Massachusetts for COVID-19. The biggest reason for bringing the EOC together was to be able to establish and make organized decisions and push out information from one point from the town board. I can tell you, sitting with at the EOC in the beginning every single day, it was very busy in regards to that, and talking to each of the department heads and what their needs were, the town manager, closings of buildings, PPE, operating with the deputy fire chief in the operations of the fire department. Obviously, Deputy Dingy was working with the police department. This was all hands on deck, and we organized ourselves. We've made statements. We moved forward in getting out the best information we could for the citizens and the councilors and elected officials at the most. So at this point, we have lower numbers. I'm not saying we're out of the water yet. Obviously, if we're all following the state and the nation's numbers, there is a kind of a flat line right now, and there's still cases. So what we've decided to do with our EOC is go to every 6-week schedule. Now, I'm not saying that anything will come out of the center. Obviously, I'm the emergency management director, and along with the police chief and the town council Chairman Jovan, we can push things forward for everybody to know what needs to be done next for the town. Our next meeting for the EOC will be August 10th at 9 a.m. Department heads have already been notified of that, and obviously, with a couple of new department heads moving forward, coming on board, we'll be able to explain a little bit of what we've been doing with the EOC and the COVID-19. So that's kind of the brief update. August 10th will be the next meeting. If anything happens in the meantime, with a keystroke of the keyboard, we'll reactivate the center again and be up and running and pushing out the same information or changing it up a little. I want to thank everybody that's been involved. We've worked really hard. Again, this is not over. We'll continue to move forward and try to keep the citizens of Southbridge safe. So thank you.
Any questions of the chief? No. Council Adams, did you have something? Go ahead, Council Adams.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. Just through you, I wanted to thank both chiefs, Andy, all the other individuals that work in town for all the hard work they did. It made it very simple, very easy. Went through a great process. To you, Councilor Jovan, as well, for the foresight and pushing this through and getting this done. And it made it a lot simpler for everybody, I believe, when it came to FEMA and MEMA and a few other things. So just wanted to say thank you to all you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Any other questions, comments? All right, just for the councilors, I did, on behalf of the town council as chairman, I did thank all those members of the EOC on behalf of us as a council and the town of Southbridge for the hard work that they put forth in managing this situation. We had a lot of things thrown at us. And it was a great team effort. I got a lot of things accomplished right through with Karen and the finance team, town hall, DPW. Everybody came together as a team. It was a great event. And I think from this, some lessons learned, some things that we do know that we have to work on in the upcoming year as far as some plans and get in place. But overall, it was we mitigated this pretty well. But like the chief said, it's not over. We have a lot of challenges in front of us, especially with the school opening and any other upticks in this disease. But and thanks also to Harrington Hospital as being good partners too, because they were part of the Emergency Operations Center. So thank you with that. Okay, chairman's announcements. I'm going to be brief because we have an extensive agenda of 71 items. So hopefully we can go through those pretty diligently, but rapidly. But first, you have the town manager search again, update. We'll be scheduling those meetings for next week. Reminded that the town council reorganizational meeting will be July 6th. That will be held in council chambers. I have been working with the health department in regards to making sure that our meetings can go forward in the council dais. We're working on some configurations also with Maddie to do the permanent seat arrangements and how that will work. So it'll be the reorganizational meeting on July 6th, followed by the regular town council meeting. Earlier today, Yvonne in the town manager's office sent a new list of openings in boards and commissions. It's that time of year where we have, again, try to push people to apply for boards and commissions. The new list was updated to the town's website and is on the front page. If anybody out there in the public, in the community wishes to step forward and serve on the board, those positions are posted, as well as anybody that wishes to serve on as a citizen member on the town council subcommittees of the 5 standing subcommittees. A great opportunity for you to learn about town government. Those existing positions that we have people on are go through July 31st, but we look forward to having some new people maybe step up and bring whatever talents you have to the town. So we have that going on. So we look for the website for that. Before I finish, Councilman Manning, did you have a question?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. You're reading, you're talking about the appointments and openings and whatnot. So the Charter Review Committee, you were supposed to appoint a Charter Review, and I know I stepped forward. I think Councilor Nash stepped forward. I think Andrew Murch stepped forward.
Right. So yeah, so we're still working on that, and we'll get that probably after July 1st. We'll get that group together. I think I do have your names. If we'll push that forward as well, because that is an important board as well. So we will get that squared away as soon as your term ends. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. And finally, as this year comes to an end, we've had a lot of challenges as a council. I'd like to thank all the counselors for the hard work that you put forward in this year. I've never served on a board that had so many challenges thrown at it in 1 year, starting off with asbestos, going through to COVID-19, and the budgetary issues that we're going to go forward. But thank you all for the hard work. You made my job easier, and I look forward to the counselors that will remain working with you all in the upcoming year. And to Councilor Nash and Councilor Manor, thank you all for your hard work the last 2 years that I've been on the council, but all the years that you've put forward. I know the council's forum's at the end, but if you'd like to say a word at the beginning as your terms ended, I'll gladly grant you some time during chairman's announcements so that you have the audience at the beginning as opposed to the end. If you want to take me up on that, I will gladly give you some time during my chairman's announcements if you have some words that you want to say outside of regular council's forum. Councilor Nash, anything now or you want to wait?
Oh, twist my arm. Thank you, Chairman. Really quickly, I'd like to extend my gratitude to all my colleagues, past and present, and I certainly wish nothing but the best to the new councilors that have been elected. I'll pray and hope for nothing but the best for the future of Southbridge. Thank you all for putting up with some of my challenges this year as well. It was a little difficult for a while, but I appreciate just a quick moment to mention that I have a lot of confidence in my colleagues and those that will serve after my term has ended. So best of luck going forward. And I hope that the general public realizes the commitment that each and every one of you makes to perform the work that this town needs to have done in your capacities. It's more than just sitting up here in front of a camera, and it's a little bit more than just voting. You know, you and your families make sacrifices, and mine is no different. I'm so grateful that my wife has tolerated so many late nights, and with my work schedule on top of that, it's been a little bit difficult. But I have nothing but love and affection for our community, and I wish you all the best. Thank you for the moment of time.
Thank you, Councilor Nash. Councilor Manor?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. I do have a lot to say at the end of tonight, but I just want to say right now, because I don't want to miss it, I want to thank the community for allowing me to serve them over the last 7 years. It indeed has been a pleasure and an eye-opening experience. And although the counselors that I've worked with over the last 7 years, we all didn't agree. And on things, we all did get along. And, you know, we're not always supposed to agree on everything. And it's good to have conversation and debate and different opinions. And I like to congratulate Councillor Steves for his reelection, Councillor-elect Ryan, and Councillor-elect Dow, and anyone else who puts their name out there and who wants to take on the responsibility and the commitment to serve the town. I mean, it is a huge commitment, and you do get out of it what you put in it. And that's all. But I do have more to say at the end tonight. So lots more.
All right. I will definitely recognize you at the end. Councilor Catrona?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, a question. I see the town manager is noticeably absent. Do you have a schedule for him going forward if he is on vacation?
He did send emails to all the councilors stating when he was on vacation, and this week he is on vacation. So it is, if you have any problems with your email, we'll check that, but he did notify all councilors of his vacation schedule.
I will check.
So he is on vacation.
Email tomorrow. I did not receive it. Thank you.
Yep. And that, the town manager's announcements, is the acting town manager for this week as the town manager is on vacation. Good evening, Karen. Welcome.
Good evening. Yes, thank you. I just have a couple of quick things. Just want to let you know this week is the first week that the town hall is open without a door greeter. So what we're doing is we have sign-up sheets in each of the offices for any of the people coming in just to sign up to say that they were there just in case we need to contact them. We are proceeding with the purchases for the COVID-19, the CARES Act money. There is a few things that we might not be able to get to this year, but we're trying very diligently to get what we can at least obligated by tomorrow, which is the end of the fiscal year. I just wanted to quickly say something about the transfers. When we start getting to agenda item 10, a little bit further, there's a lot of transfers. as you've seen on here. What I've done within the last week or so, I've reviewed the budget very carefully to see if I can find any areas that may need some transfers. And some of those items are on tonight, as well as some items that the department heads have requested as well that they would like to put up for review. But as you know, we've also had our budget freeze on since the middle of March, since the COVID. So any items that are over $500, the department heads had to come and have myself review it and sign it, and the town manager as well. And we do use the same procedure for the transfers. They have to come to my office. I look for availability, for reasonableness, and the town manager signs off as well. And then lastly, I would like to say thank you very much to Councilor Nash and Councilor Manna for their service, and I've enjoyed working with you through the years, and best wishes to you in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Councilor
Karen.
Catrona?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through
You have a
you,
question?
through Karen. Yes, I do. At the town hall, it resumed normal schedule Monday through Friday?
No, we're still not resuming on Friday as of right yet.
Is there a reasoning?
Well, this Friday coming up is the holiday, and the ones before that, we were still having the custodian come into our offices to do the cleaning of our, deep cleaning of our desks and all of that. And I believe the Fridays should resume after this next holiday, so it would be the second week in July.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. And just for Council Catrona and the other councilors, I know the town manager is proposing a change in town hall hours. And I asked that should have come to the new town council on July 6th. So we'll have a discussion on that topic July 6th on town hall hours. Council Manna?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. So I apologize because my email, my work email never got resolved. I mean, my work email, my town council email never got resolved. So I kind of missed that. So the town manager is proposing new town hall hours. I'm confused.
He's asked about coming to the town council to review town council hours and proposing new hours. And that's a town council decision. So I asked that it go forward on July 6th with a new sit-in town council, because those are the councils that will be, he wanted it effective July 1st. So that is the council going forward. And I think we'll have a discussion, we'll have further discussion about this as an agenda item on July 6th. Because it's not an agenda item this evening.
Okay, well, it was just a question because I missed all the emails. So that's all. Thank you.
He hasn't sent an email well, he did send an email asking about getting on the agenda, and I replied that it would come back July 6th. With the new sit-in town council should make that decision. So, or any decision or any discussion about further issues on that. Anything else for Karen? Seeing none. Presentations, there's none. Citizens forum, is there anybody in the internet land out there that wishes to address the town council? I see a caller one. I'm not sure who that is. Anyone? Last call. Seeing none. Okay, we'll move on now. All right. First item, vote to approve corrections to Schedule 1 to reflect the additional 1% to police with education incentive, which is part of a 2-year adjustment to the baseline. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Karen?
Sure. Yes, thank you. On page 2 of Schedule 1 is some suggested changes to the areas within the police department. The police chief has a salary. So in his contract, I'm sorry, he has a contract. So in his contract, it says that whatever the police union gets, he gets as well. And the two non-union people who were not addressed is the deputy chief and the lieutenant. So when we went forward with the Schedule 1, we went forward with the 2%, but it's coming forward now to see if it can be approved for the deputy chief and the lieutenant to also get the additional 1% increase for FY21.
Discussion? Chief?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, thanks for having me tonight. I just kind of want to provide a little bit of background on this. This all stems from back in January of 2010. So this is 10 years in arrears. When the lieutenant, the deputy chief, and myself were all in the union, we took 0%. July 1st, 2010, we took 0%. I don't know what the reasoning was at the time, but the then town manager decided that if you didn't have a college degree, you would get a 1.5% on July 1st, 2010, and a 1% on January 1st, 2011. So they were 2.5%. They were given a 2.5% raise, and the people with college degrees got nothing. We took zeros. We willingly took zeros. Problem is, and I don't want to blame it on previous employees or previous chiefs or town managers. In the last 10 years, per the collective bargaining agreement in the contract, for an associate's degree, you get 10%. For a bachelor's degree, you get 20%. For a master's degree, you get 25%. But with that change in the contract in 2010, myself, the lieutenant, the deputy, and all the union members that were working at the time, we were actually getting, because of this pay raise, somewhere at the finance department, again, none of these people are here anymore, or the treasurer's office, we were all getting, if you had a bachelor's, instead of getting 10%, you were getting like 7.5% because of this 2.5% bump. They took the wrong schedule, and it went on for like 10 years. So if you had a bachelor's degree, per the contract, you were supposed to be getting 20%, and you were getting like 17.5% to 18%. Master's degrees, 25% per the contract, you were getting 17.5 or 18%. So we were never actually getting, we were always 2.5% short for 10 years. Fast forward to July of 2019, we're negotiating a new contract with the union. I'm now the chief. The deputy's no longer in the union. The lieutenant's no longer in the union. The union, and I give it to them, they could have held the town hostage. They could have dragged this out for years. They could have litigated this, and we would have had to pay, I think our attorney at the time said, hundreds of thousands of dollars in back pay on top of court time, overtime, detail rates, everything else that they've been shorted, us included, the administration, over the last 10 years. But the town agreed and the union agreed. We came to an agreement after weeks and months of arguing back and forth and discussions, we'll say heated discussions, where they would break it up and they'd agree to a 1% July 1st, which is a couple days, and a 1.5% next July 1st to lessen the cost for the town. And just so you know, this isn't about me. I have a contract. My deputy, this comes out to about like $18 a week for him, and it comes out to about $15 a week for my lieutenant. So it's not about really a money issue. It's about doing what's right. And all of us took zeros. All of us were paid less than what we were supposed to be getting paid. We didn't want to turn this into an ordeal and get involved in litigation, and we settled with the town. But now here we are, we get out of the union, we want to be managers, and now it's being held against us. So that's my position on this.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions, comments? I know we've had discussion about this previously when we did the police contract, so that was part of the contract discussion at that time. All right, seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
No.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
No.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
and Counselor Steves.
Motion carries. Item 10, vote to approve a treasurer collector transfer from account number 001145-534-100 advertising to account number 001145-534-200 printing, in the amount of $2,000 to cover the printing of real estate and personal property bills to be mailed in June. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this? Any questions for this particular one? Seeing none, roll call. Oh, Council Marquetti, go ahead.
I was just curious, why do we have to pay more for printing? Don't we have printing every year for this? Why this year we have to pay more for printing? Just a question.
Okay, Karen or Melissa on this one?
I'd like,
So,
yep, Melissa.
Melissa?
so this year, this is the first printing that we've done out of Munis, which both Will and I decided to outsource the printing at this time, which is slightly more expensive than the stock that we had gotten previously. We could have gotten Munis stock and printed in-house. That would have been a little bit more expensive than outsourcing, but I think that process of having the deputy collector print our bills, who prints our motor vehicle bills at no charge to us, printing the personal property and real estate bills was honestly the most efficient way with the new Munis program. And I believe that it's more of a cost shift than a cost increase. It's in a different line because I believe their postage metering system and their bulk rate is more efficient than ours. And therefore, I believe it will be more cost neutral. It's just the cost is coming out of a different place. Not to mention, we don't have to buy a really expensive printer and ink and all that other stuff.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Counselor Steves?
Yeah, just for clarification, so you said you were outsourcing, but you also said that you having the assistant collector do it. Just want to clarify. This is still being done in the
No,
town
the
hall.
deputy collector,
Yeah.
the deputy collector, not the assistant collector, the deputy collector prints our bills,
And
which
that's
is Kelly and Ryan.
who's that again?
Kelly and Ryan. They've been our
Kelly and
deputy
Ryan.
for many years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, just clarification because they're contracted to you guys to do the collections.
Correct. They do collections of things of more than a year old.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, roll call?
Counselor Catrona,
No.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna. Yes. Counselor Marquetti,
No,
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
and Counselor Adams.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 11, vote to approve a debt transfer from account number 00171059250 short-term interest to account number 00171059260 issuance cost in the amount of $550 to issue DPW cleanup ban. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion? Karen, on this one? What is this for?
There was an issuance cost. We had to do a ban for the DPW cleanup project. And we had to issue it so that we covered a small deficit, so that we wouldn't have a deficit as of June 30th. So we just moved it from short-term interest, which had a little bit extra in it because it was estimated, and it's moving to cover the issuance costs.
Thank you. Any further discussion, questions? Roll call?
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
yes,
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
and Counselor Catrona.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 12, vote to approve a Recreation Department transfer from account number 001-631-543000, maintenance improvement of building, to account number 001-631-521000, electricity, the amount of $300 to cover the electricity cost for June of 2020. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Motion is second. Any questions on this one? Councilor Marquetti?
what's this for? What electrical cost?
If I could, in the recreation, this is for the building at the res. And when we looked back a couple of years, we found that the electricity was a little bit underfunded. So we have to heat at least enough during the winter so that the pipes don't break. So that's what the transfer is for.
Okay, if I could continue, but this is June now. This is for June, so what are we using electricity to heat the pipes in June for? I don't know why we're keeping that building open anyway, to tell you the truth, and it's not being used.
Yeah, I believe that the electricity is shut off right now. But what it was is it used a little bit extra during the winter. I don't know, Pat is on. I don't know if she can add any additional information at all.
We are still receiving bills for that building. And actually, there are a couple of different electricity accounts that's going to. It's not just the res building. There are 2 or 3 other poles that provide electricity to the parks and to other things through rec. The electricity, because of the shortfall to the res, though, the electricity budget got used up. So now we have to transfer to cover those other electricity bills. I don't know that it's actually the res that the electricity bill this month is going to be for. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Well, I know on March 30th, we voted to give $700 for the electricity at the res. Now we're giving another $300 for the electricity at the res. I think the res should be shut down. The water drained out so the pipes don't freeze. Just shut it off. That's all. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Good question, Councilor. I mean, we can have a discussion about the use of that building at another council meeting, but right now we're gonna have to pay the bill. So, but we'll put that on a ticker to have a conversation about the use of that building. I know this year was because of no real ice this year, so they weren't able to do ice skating. But any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Petrona,
Yes.
and Counselor Daniel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 13, vote to approve Department of Public Works transfer in the amount of $6,300 from account number 0014999-5230000-0428 water and sewer, and $2,000 from account number 0014999-524000 repair of maintenance and equipment to account number 0014999-524300-0499 repair maintenance of building and grounds, Department of Public Works, for a total transfer amount of $8,300 to cover costs of the service call for repairs to the AC system and operations and installation of circulation pumps. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right. I don't know who caller 1 is here, but they're on. I'm just going to mute this call. So whoever it is, I think that's the background noise I'm hearing. Somebody's cooking or doing something. So, all right, hold on. Any discussion on this item? Councilor Marquetti.
On this one here, on February 10th, we put $10,000 towards HVAC study and repair. In the budget that was presented to us, there was $31,000 in that account. $6,000 of that, about $6,000. We had a balance of about almost $25,000. So I'm wondering, why are we transferring money when we have money in that account to use for HVAC? Thank you.
Yes, Karen, do you want Heather to answer that right now?
Sure, thank you.
Heather?
So that money that you are speaking with has already been used to do the repair that was associated with that AC call. The service repair is a separate bill. So that money has already been used. It was actually over $3,000, but that's being used to repair the AC in the operations manager's office area, which is broken. Actually, it's still not operating. The PO has just been issued. So that is already being used. That is actually capital money. So that money has already been, the 10,000 has already been used up. This money would be coming out of our regular operating budget and it's being transferred out of our operating budget to address issues that we have with covering the cost of that bill that we received because we had to have someone come look at the unit to determine what was wrong with it. And then also a second operations that we'd like to do was just take the circulation pumps that we purchased and have them actually installed. They're part of the heating system. We had been holding off to the end of the year to see if we had enough funds, but they need to be repaired because they're leaking badly and our heating system won't work next winter. We wouldn't be able to rely on it if we don't have those pumps replaced.
All right, thank you.
Okay, you all set? Any further? Council Catrona?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you. Were these repairs done as an emergency repair?
Well, the service call was an emergency service call. The $3,000 for the repairs, which it hasn't been done yet, it's just been approved in a PO, is being done as a called in for getting service for repair. And the other stuff hasn't been done. There's a schedule done we asked for a quote, received a quote to have the work done.
Just follow up. Did I hear you correctly to say that you had to pay someone to come out to give you a quote for this project? Did I hear you correctly?
We had to pay someone to come out and troubleshoot the unit to see if we could get it operating. It was a service call.
It wasn't, okay. Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
and Counselor Jovan.
Yes. Item 14, vote to approve a Department of Public Works transfer from account number 001-499-527-000 rental and leases to account number 001-499-533-100 maintenance of trees in the amount of $1,000 to cover the cost of a removal of a dangerous dead tree on Charlton Street. Motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? Any further information needed? Yeah. Councilor Marquetti?
I'm just curious where the dead tree was, that's all.
It hasn't been removed. It's on Charlton Street. It hasn't been removed and I don't have the number. I want to say it's in the 400 area. It's about a half mile down the road on the right-hand side past Gulfwood Road.
I mean, so is this public? Is this a
It's
public?
public property. It's on the street. It's not a private tree. It's a tree. We only remove trees that are on our public property. That's within the street layout.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilor Catrona?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, Heather, are you subbing this out or is your team handling this?
No, this tree is way too large for us to take. It has to be taken down piece by piece. It's quite large at the base, big old tree that we're finding this all over the place right now. We have more calls about trees than I can even imagine. We probably look at one a week where people are concerned. And part of it is the gypsy moths. Part of it was the ash borer that we have going around. And part of it is just age of trees. We have some trees that are very old and have gotten to the point where they're stressed and aren't living anymore. But this is way too big for us to take. We assess the trees when we look at them, and we don't have all the proper equipment to take some of these trees down. If they are small enough, we do take them ourselves.
Thank you. Just to follow up, Mr. Chairman, is this something that you get proposals for? Or you go out and you get 2 or 3 estimates for?
Yep, we get 3 quotes every time we call and request a quote from from 3 different vendors, and we picked the lowest vendor. Every tree. Every tree that we can that's not an emergency. There are cases that we've called because of emergencies that we don't have a time to call around. We just need somebody to get there.
Okay, I didn't see in my packet the.
You don't get those packets. We do not provide those. We just do a verbal quote form, and I can provide those, but we do them every time we have a tree. We have them all documented.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council Steves?
Yeah, just a quick question to you, to Heather. So what is it about this particular tree that made you decide it was dangerous enough to warrant being cut down as opposed to just being left up there?
It's completely dead. There is no vegetation whatsoever left on this tree.
But is it actually in danger of falling off?
As soon as a tree dies, it's in danger of falling. It's right on the edge of the road. It's extremely large. It has extremely large branches. If I was notified of it being a dead tree and determined it was a dead tree and it fell, the town is liable.
Okay.
Thank you. Council Marquetti?
I just wanted to follow up. If it's gypsy moth, then I'm going to presume this is an oak tree. And if it's an oak tree, it's probably worth a lot of money. So I'm in the wood.
I don't know what the type of tree was. If gypsy moth attacked a whole bunch of different types of trees, not just oaks. They attacked every type of tree, and every type of tree is dying right now in the town.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Marquetti,
All right, yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
and Counselor Manna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 15, vote to approve a Department of Public Works transfer from account number 0014999571100 conferences and meetings to account number 00149-533100 maintenance of trees in the amount of $1,500 to cover the cost of removal of a dangerous limb in the Elm Park found on June 24th, 2020. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Heather, any comments on this one? It's 1,500, so why is it more than 3? I guess, is that what you were going to ask, Councilor Steves? Okay.
Well, I first, what I would like you to know that actual tree on Charlton Street is $1,800. The transfer was just the additional money that was needed in the account. It wasn't for the whole tree. It was $1,800 for the tree on Charlton Street. We already had $800 remaining in the account, so therefore we needed another $1,000 to cover it. The tree on Elm Street, when we put in this transfer request, we did not know how much it was going to cost. So as I can say, we estimate, and we sometimes estimate high because we don't want to be under being at the end of the year. Taking of this tree actually only cost us $450, so we can reduce that cost to that amount, and we will have enough to cover the cost of the tree to be removed. But
So-
either way, the money is resorting back to general funds. So you can vote it the way it is, and it would just not get used and go back to general funds.
Okay. Karen, what's your recommendation on that? You want to reduce it? To,
Yes, I would
Consider
say to the $450.
all right. Council Steves, will you make that an amendment?
Absolutely.
Change it out to 450? Is
Yeah, I'll accept that.
there a second on the amendment?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the amendment? Council Marquetti?
No, I don't have I'm not on the amendment.
Okay. Any other discussion on the amendment? Roll
I have
call.
This just on the
To amend.
amendment or the,
This is just the amendment, Council. So roll call on the amendment to be $450.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
and Counselor Marquetti.
yes.
Okay, Council Marquetti, you have discussion on it as amended?
Well, I would just like to point out that during our budget deliberations, I wanted to cut conferences and meetings because I didn't think it was necessary. And I remember the words being said to me that conferences and meetings are a great learning experience for all the employees. And if there's one thing I've learned, that you don't want to cut education for employees. So I don't understand now why we're moving conferences and meetings when before we couldn't move them because they were great learning experiences for the employees.
Thank you. Heather, do you have an answer for that, or Karen?
I have an answer for it. We couldn't attend conferences and meetings for the last 4 months because of COVID. So there was nothing going on. So we didn't have any of those costs. That's why it was available to us at this time.
Great.
Any further discussion on the motion as amended? Hearing none, roll call. With the amended amount of $450.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
and Counselor Nash.
Yes.
Motion carries. Vote item 16, vote to approve a sewer department transfer in the amount of $325,000 from account number 600440-583-000-20582. $200,000 to conveyor upgrade account and $125,000 to the SCADA upgrade to allow both planned projects to continue into next fiscal year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Karen, do you want to
Yeah.
discuss this as to the reasons for this?
Sure, this is just kind of more of a mechanics with the accounting on how to do this. So there was $325,000 that was available in the capital account that's budgeted in sewer. And in order to carry that over, rather than keeping it in that same account, we just want to transfer it to sewer capital projects for those two distinct projects, and we'll account for those separately and move them forward to next fiscal year. I don't know if Heather has anything additional.
Anything else, Heather, on that?
I can just add that both of these projects were, budgeted for this year to happen, and because of delays in construction with, and complications just dealing with COVID and not having people on site and delays in our construction of our electrical project because of the COVID, they weren't able to be completed. They're in various stages. The conveyor project is just about ready to go out to bid, and this is the funds for doing that actual work. And the SCADA project can't start until the electrical upgrade project is complete. So this is part of the reason we're in this pattern where we are, that we can't, that we want to have the money available to continue the both projects that are necessary, and by moving them into a capital account will allow us to do that.
Any, Councilor Steves, did you have a follow-up question, or is that good enough? Any other discussion? Any questions? Councilor Marquetti.
I don't have a problem with this project. I know that I did support it. The only thing that I'm thinking about now is that maybe it would be better if we put this money to offset our or forestall our rate increases and borrow the money for projects like this. That to me would make more sense. It would be better to borrow and use the money to offset our rate increases and maybe even lower our rate increases.
Response, Karen?
I don't know if any of the other counselors are interested in that, but it's something that I think that we should consider. Thank you.
Okay. I'll defer to the finance department on that one.
Yeah, but I would also want to point out too, that if we end up borrowing, then there's going to be the borrowing costs plus interest on it. So I'm not really sure that that would be the best way to proceed with it.
Well, that's true. If I could continue.
Go ahead,
Mr.
Councilor.
Chairman. That's true. There'll be some interest. I don't think it's going to be that much interest. But the other issue that I have sometimes with these spending money on projects like this that are going to be benefiting future ratepayers is that you're using money that we've paid in or older ratepayers have paid in to fix something that's going to be benefiting future ratepayers. And to me, it would make more sense to borrow the money so that everybody pays for these projects, not just older ratepayers or present day ratepayers. But if the council's not interested, that's fine. I mean, I do support the project. I just think it would be better to borrow the money and use the capital money for offsetting our rate increases. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Seeing none, Council Steve, go ahead.
I'm just curious, through you to Karen, where did this money originally come from? Free cash?
No, this amount is actually budgeted as capital within the sewer enterprise fund. It's annual capital.
So it's coming from the sewer ratepayers already anyway.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
and Counselor Steves.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item 17, vote to approve a fire department transfer from account number 001220-571100 conferences and meetings to account number 001220-514000 employee benefits in the amount of $100 recommended from town accountant to add monies to complete one cancer screening for one firefighter with the remaining funds in the account for FY 2020. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
For a second. Karen, is this just a shortage in this account? Is that it?
Well,
'Cause
what
we
it was
accounted
is,
for money for that, right?
yeah, the account is just short by $100 to do one more cancer screening. And the fire chief said that we can actually get one done before the end of the fiscal year if this transfer would be approved this evening. So I thought it would be a prudent use of the funds.
Okay, Council Steves?
I have no problem with doing extra cancer screenings, but we did set aside money to screen everybody in the next fiscal year. So if this person gets screened now, presumably we're not going to screen them again, say in next March. Hopefully, I don't see any reason to do double screenings of people that didn't screen for this year. How's that?
Correct, and I'll defer to Chief Norman.
Chief?
Good evening, everybody. That's a great question, Councilor Steves. This one person that we're funding tonight was not part of the calculation that was approved about 2 weeks ago. So this person will not be done again next year with the appropriation that you did 2 weeks ago. Does that make sense? Thank you.
Why weren't they included?
Because through the chair to you, to Councilor Steve, I had spoken with Karen in regards to this a few weeks back. We put together the transfer. We were working on both items at the same time with the large appropriation from the capital account that we moved over for the cancer screenings. So I figured by saving some money on one more person on the capital account, adding $100 from my existing budget now on a transfer would make it just one less person.
So if I may, Chief, so essentially, just so I understand, I get where Council Steve's going. If you didn't do the $100 transfer, you would have needed the entire amount added into the capital and that other batch, is that what you're saying? Because you had the original appropriation for the year, correct? So you're $100 short for the original 5 firefighters. So is that correct?
That is
I
correct.
just want to make sure we're, all right, so either you're $100 short this fiscal year, or if you bounce it to the out of the capital, you'd have to include the whatever it is, total cost, correct?
150 per test.
Okay. All right. Karen?
I actually think, and Chief Norman can confirm this, I believe we did do the 5, but this would be a 6th one, isn't that true?
That is correct. So this would be so each cancer test was $850. We did the initial 5 members of the fire department, left $750 in the account. In discussions with Finance Director Harnois, we thought it would be a good approach to transfer the $100 from, and I'll say it, conference and meetings, because we didn't have many conference and meetings during the COVID time. We transferred that. But again, I did not include that one member in the capital improvement requisition that was put forward 2 weeks ago. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, sir. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
and Counselor Adams.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 18, vote to approve a fire department transfer from account number 001220-515000 holiday to account number 001220-525300 repair and maintenance of communications in the amount of $7,408.36, and from account number 001220-518200 assignments overtime other to account number 001220-525300 repair and maintenance of communications in the amount of $5,600 due to the unexpected costs associated with the new dispatch center merger and the new tower site at Harrington Memorial Hospital related to the current radio system. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion is second. Chief Norman, you want to discuss this first, and then I'll take questions from Councilor Catrona.
Yeah, so as we all know, and this will probably be a topic of discussion at a later date, but the dispatch center merger with the police department. We also, we've been having some battles with this because of the COVID. We've been having people that were coming in to make this merger happen. Because of COVID, it was not happening. Nobody would enter the facility. We were having problems with that, but unrelated to that, this transfer, basically, when we added the Harrington site last year, that was set up for an analog radio at that time. That was not what should have been specified in the project. It should have been a digital radio system, a repeater that was put in. So that was the part of the increase in the work with that. So that was quite a bit of money on that part. So we couldn't put the radio in at Harrington with an analog radio. So we were kind of dead in the water. As you know, we've had past discussions about coverages with our current radio system, how poor it is in the Globe area. This Harrington repeater is now up and operating. And it actually has helped us out in the Big Bunny area and over by Eastwood Road School. Not Eastwood Road, excuse me, West Street School. So that has helped out on one part. The second piece of this is that when this merger with the police department and fire department dispatch center was put forward, it didn't take an effect of individual headsets for the dispatchers. Right now, we're having a problem with the two dispatchers working within the facility because there's so much activity in that room. We're hearing two sets of conversations on behind the dispatcher. So putting these headsets in, it was not even mentioned during the build out of this program. I recommend highly that we get the headsets because I'll be honest with you, and Chief Woodson can probably agree with me, is that when the police dispatcher is talking to his cruiser and there's a fire call going on, we can hear background noise all the time, making it difficult to miss important information. And also the other part about the headsets is that it will be issued to each dispatcher. They will use it themselves, so they will be responsible for cleanliness of it. Obviously, the COVID time, I think it's important that we keep the dispatch area as clean as possible. Right now, there's one microphone that they get close to, and by having their own microphones on their head, there's potential of spreading disease is much less. And then obviously the other parts of these problems were some vehicles that we had some radio problems. We had a radio vendor come in, make some changes and adjustments. So the unfortunate part about doing communications is that it costs money to be up to speed, and we want to make sure the first responders can hear the dispatchers and the dispatchers can hear, the first responders. So that's kind of where we're at. I can get a little bit more technical, but I don't know if we're pressed for time, but there's a lot more information, but it's obviously very technical in regards to how all this works.
Councilor Catrona, you had a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the chief, as I know we've put substantial amount of money into this communication center, and I understand the analog versus digital. Was this an oversight by an engineering firm or architect firm?
I don't think it was so much of an oversight at the initial onset. I think the analog radio was put in there because some of our other equipment is analog, I think it was, yeah, I would say maybe it was an oversight and they didn't realize that the other radios that we have in our system are digital. So unfortunately, as we move forward with communications, all of our remaining analog sites do have to be brought up. They have to be brought up to a digital platform. So this was the first step, and it was an oversight by the vendor on the first part. So, but it's important to get that site up, as I discussed earlier.
Thank you, Chief. If I can continue, I understand that, but I guess my second question would be accountability for the architect or engineering firm. Do they hold any accountability for their error?
Well, I can tell you through the chair, I don't think they're going to pay for their mistake. They're definitely not going to do that. The reason why this was the way it happened this way was that we were kind of at the last minute thinking about putting this site up, and obviously the radio technician expertise people thought this was a good move and go into that direction. But obviously the digital move is the best, all around best way for Southbridge to move forward. So yeah, the accountability is there, but that's what we asked for, and then that's what our radio guy said he thought would work. But all in all, when they started putting the apples together, the apples were apples and bananas. They weren't apples to apples.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm all set for now.
Okay, Council Steve?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To follow up, I was going to ask primarily what Councilor Catrona just asked, but so I'm going to follow up with him. I was curious through you to the chief. So this whole analog to digital transfer, how much do you foresee us needing to do that cost-wise, and when? Where else is that needed?
So that's a much larger picture. Obviously, the whole project, the dispatch merger to get the police station all set up was underfunded because we were using prices from 4 years ago when we started, when Police Chief and I started taking over and moving forward with this project. I would like actually to defer with that, because let's get the center open and we'll do the phase 2 part of it, which would be adding some more pieces to the police station to make us redundant with other. We have to have a backup. Right now, we don't have much of a backup. We got 2 tin cans holding together some copper wire for our backup. And ultimately, I couldn't put a number to it, Gus, to be honest with you. Probably a couple, $300,000-$400,000 to bring up the whole system, police and fire, to make it all work. So, but that would be over probably a 4 or 5 year period of time.
How long will it take to actually have the system that we did already approve up and running to the degree that you need? Do we at least will cover the basic needs?
We're talking weeks. I'm gonna cross my fingers. I'm talking weeks, probably by the end of July, sometime in August.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments? Council Marquetti?
Back in February, we voted to receive 3 grants for this dispatch center, totaling about $111,000. Have we spent all of that money already?
Chief Norman or Chief Woodson, do you know what the grants are on the dispatch center? Chief Norman?
I believe Chief Woodson orchestrated those grants. That's for staffing, I believe. But go ahead, Chief.
Go ahead, Chief Woodson.
Mr. Chair, all the money that's been appropriated for that project, it's somewhere in the tune of somewhere around $380,000. It's all accounted for. Most of it's spent. We've got a couple of outstanding invoices, and in fact, again, this is 4 years ago when the planning started. Things have increased. Some equipment that we thought, and you'll hear me talk on one of my transfers, that we thought was going to survive the new comm center, it's not. So I'm actually coming tonight for more money. And again, we were told 4 years ago this is going to be about a $350,000 project, and now our project manager, with the way things have changed in the last 4 or 5 years, it's more like a $400,000 project. Probably should have been a $500,000 project, but we've been kind of maneuvering and manipulating, and we're going to try to keep it at about a little under $400,000. So that answers your question, but all the money is accounted for. There's a few outstanding invoices that I've actually been talking with our finance director about the last couple of days. But after tonight, everything has been spent. And this project, again, like the fire chief said, fingers crossed, I'm hoping to be done with it and up and running within the next couple of weeks. And we've been saying that for a while. and I don't want to blame everything on COVID, but that threw a curveball at us in March, and I haven't been able to have anybody in my building until within the last couple of weeks. Vendors working on this project. It held us up.
Yeah, thank you very
So,
much.
Chief, the question was on grants. On grants, I think the grants would include a 911 grant, is that correct?
No, negative.
A dispatch grant, though, what do you mean?
No,
What is it?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chad, maybe I misunderstood the question. The grant that we originally got from the Executive Office of Public Safety was $100,000. That money is for the dispatch project. The grants that Council Marquetti is, I believe, is possibly referring to will be the 911 training grant, emergency medical dispatch grant. That's for salary and for training of staff. That is not for the capital project, the communication center renovation. My mistake, Council Marquetti. That's
No,
for salary and
that's
strictly support.
Thank you. I get it.
Okay.
Thanks.
I apologize, Jack.
Yeah, no problem, sir. Any other questions on this project? Okay. Those dispatch engines are expensive, I know. So, glad it's very close. So, all right, roll call.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
and Counselor Catrona.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 19, vote to approve a fire department transfer from account number 001220-519-300 tuition to account number 001220-569-000 licenses, permits, and taxes in the amount of $1,531 to cover costs of the Central Mass Emergency Medical System and 18 emergency medical technician recertifications. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Chief?
Yes, through you to the council. This is a transfer to cover the annual cost for Central Mass EMS Corporation. Central Mass EMS Corporation runs the radio system that links our ambulances that are transporting patients to hospitals. So there's a kind of a secret squirrel network of patient information that gets told to a resource nurse at the receiving hospital. And then that they decide from there, you know, what severity and what level or what room they're going to be going to within the facility. Those costs are roughly around $7,000 a year. It was a little higher this year because our call volume went up. So it's a per call base. And the second part is that we usually do about 13 or 14 EMT recertifications every year. With our mass hiring last year in June and July, all 5 of those new employees came in with the same certification date of like 12 people or 13 guys that we already had. So that added way up to what we had budgeted in that account. So the overage on the EMT recertifications and also the overage on the Central Mass EMS, I feel that these recommendation will be moving forward without transfer.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
and Counselor Daniel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 20, vote to approve a fire department transfer request from account number 001220-519-300 tuition to account number 00122-542200 data processing supplies in the amount of $2,500 to purchase new computers for use within the department and replacement of a failing server for all electronic records. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this? Questions? Councilor Marquetti?
Didn't we receive some money from the CARE grant to, for IT and software and upgrades, computers?
Chief? Oh, Karen? Karen, go ahead.
Yes, if I could, the amount of money that we received through the CARES grant were for laptops for police, fire, and other departments within the town. So I believe this is something different, Chief.
Go ahead, Chief.
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, these are our in-house, in the station server, which costs us roughly about $4,500. Our one that we have now is about 6 years old, so we need to upgrade that to keep, obviously everybody knows everything is in the electronic world nowadays, so we need to keep that server up and running. Like I said, this last one lasted 6 years, and that's about the time frame our IT guy tells us is about the right frame for a server replacement. The other cost was for a computer that we use. It's a desktop computer within the station for other ambulance regulations and EMS quality assurance stuff. So that was an older Windows platform. So obviously, like every other computer person, they're all buying new computers or upgrading their operating system. But these are definitely costs that we need to incur with the transfer.
Councilor Steves.
Yeah, I can understand having those kind of time frames that somebody would suggest, but have you actually been seeing operational problems because of these things?
Chief.
So through you, Chairman, to Councilor Steves, the one computer that we're replacing right now goes very, 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 very slow. It takes some time for it to boot up. And it's used every day. So obviously with our computer person, they've gone in there and they've done the best they can to make it go a little bit faster. And obviously the server is pretty self-explanatory because we do backups on the server, but again, it's an older operating system that you can't upgrade. So let's do it before we lose it. That's kind of where we're at.
Okay.
How's that? Any further discussion? None, roll call.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona.
Yes.
Sorry, guys, my dog. Counselor. Oh,
Yes.
Okay, and Counselor Dillon.
Yes. What's up? Okay,
Sorry.
motion carries. That's okay. I have a dog at home too. That's the price we pay for doing remote participation on this. Item 21. Vote to approve a fire department transfer from account number 001220-518200 assignments overtime other to account number 001220-511700 salary and part-time wages in the amount of $500 due to unexpected costs associated to emergency ambulance calls. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this? Questions? Councilor Marquetti.
I thought we hired a full staff for you. So what is this all about? You have extra calls, but we have a full staff, correct?
So if I can answer.
It just
Yes,
explained.
Through the chairman, so we are at, well, I could say we have 25 full-time members within the department. We are down one. We just recently had a resignation of one of our 12-year members. He's moving on to another department. But this is actually for our call department, this transfer. Our call department is active. They do calls. Because we have had an increase in calls, we do rely on them to come in and cover the station and or participate in fire calls or emergency ambulance calls. So this is definitely because they are more active on the call department and we have more of them. It's really kind of hard to judge how much money we're going to be needing to put into that account. We have a rough idea every year, and that's the money that we keep moving forward with each budget year. But this is going to be our shortfall this year, about $500.
All right, thank you.
All right, any further discussion? Councilor Steves.
I'm just curious as to how much of this shortfall on the other increase in calls is related specifically to the pandemic.
That's a really good question. We do keep a track of what costs we're incurring on the full-time department. So if we have a call that's related to somebody in distress in regards to the COVID, we track that for the full-time department. We also have that being tracked on the call department. I can't put a number to that right now because obviously I don't have that data right here in front of me, but Anytime the ambulance goes out, we can actually just assume that it's a COVID patient. So almost every call that we're doing, we don't know if they're positive or negative. So we treat everybody, with masks and high potential of being infected. So.
A rough guess of how many end up turning up to be infected?
Well, so it's kind of hard to get the information. We generally get the positive test results just from an address in town through the Board of Health. I couldn't tell you. We could keep going back and forth and looking at the address and looking at the list to make sure they match. But what does that really do for us as a service? It's the knowledge that we need to know if we get called back to that apartment again. Obviously, if we get called back and that number shows up on the list of being a positive COVID address, we take full precautions: 2 masks, eye shields, gowns, gloves, booties, before we even go on the call. So the dispatchers are doing a great job with that screening. But we have 150 positive addresses in town. We don't know how many people are positive out there just walking around.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Marquetti?
Yes.
Counselor Nash?
Yes.
Counselor Steves?
Yes.
Counselor Adams?
Yes.
Counselor Catrona?
Yes.
Counselor Daniel?
Yes.
Counselor Jovan?
Yes.
And Counselor Manna?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 22, vote to approve a fire department transfer from account number 001220-518200 assignments overtime other to account number 001220-513000 overtime in the amount of $12,000 due to unexpected costs associated to full shift coverages, details, and fire calls. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions on this one, Karen? Council Steves?
Yeah, my quick question is, we've transferred money several times from this particular account. What is that account actually used for? Just tonight.
Assignments other?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, what's assignments other, Karen? Do you know? Or Chief?
I believe it's according to the fire department contract. There are certain assignments that are on there. I think one of them is like the ambulance billing. Chief, do you have any other details on that?
So we have very many assignments in the collective bargaining agreement, and Karen, you are correct, that is one of them. We have the payments that people, for spots that people do quality assurance on EMS calls, so that's part of it. The EMS training officer, that's part of it. Some stipends that get paid out through that account. There's quite a few collective bargaining agreements that are in there. So because of we've been able to move money out of that account this year because of a lot of these other things in regards to fire department responses and extra duty stuff, which falls into that account. So there was a little bit of overage in there this year. So we're moving it into this other account.
So is the assignments other a budget item that you have per person that you had a total? So 12,500 out of that this year. Why was it so high as opposed to other years? I guess is the question. Councilor Steves, is that fair?
Well, that's part of it. But it's also like just trying to figure out what that particular line item is even used for, and why, quite frankly, why it exists, and why it wouldn't be into the regular, in this case, like the regular overtime account in the first place.
Well, the regular overtime account is for recalls, box alarms, emergency ambulance calls, on callbacks, shift coverages. Obviously, we've had quite a few shift coverages since the COVID, and also prior to the COVID, we've been doing a lot of this. Last time around, we actually for the coverage we did. I want to get back to that page. We had the rally that we had to cover for, so that increased quite a bit of cost because obviously we were very well prepared for that. We covered the school graduation ceremonies, which was all day long. I sent an EMT up to do that. That's just for general public coverage, safety coverage. Getting back to that other assignments, those are all the assignments that we do, through the collective bargaining agreement. So there's a list of probably 30 of them, and I don't have them right in front of me because I didn't think we'd be getting that question, but honestly, I can get all that stuff back to you in a very short manner. The budget is good because Karen and I and Ron went through on that particular line item several times through the budget process this year. So it does all add up per person according to the agreement that the town has. And it's not over budget at all. So, but we do always have a little bit left over in that because we have to make sure that we have the extra just in case, as we move forward through the budget cycle.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Marquet?
Well, you've mentioned COVID a couple of times, so is any of this recoverable under the CARES Act? Any of this money at all for this coverage?
Karen?
Yes, actually, we did put in the actual costs that were through some point in May, and then the chief estimated so much per week through the end of June. So yes, we should get the monies back through the CARES and then the rest of it through the FEMA.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Sorry, yes.
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes. Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
and Counselor Marquetti.
Yes,
Motion carries. Item 23, vote to approve a fire department transfer account from account number 001-220-511000, salaries to account number 001-220-527100, gear and uniforms in the amount of $8,200 for structural firefighting gear replacement program for members of the fire department. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Councilor Marquetti?
just curious how you're able to transfer salaries to something that's not salary, like for gear and things like that. I mean, you have a certain amount of money that has to go towards salary. How are you able to take salaries away and say, okay, now we're going to buy something else? Just curious.
Chief?
So I can ask, well, actually, I should just say that in this case, we had at the beginning of the fiscal year last year, we had a couple of unfilled positions within the fire department. So there is some leftover money that sits in that salaries account. I do know that in past years that even my predecessor and before them, and I do, obviously with Chief Woodson, and we talk a lot, we've been able to do that salaries transfer to operating account lines. That's a good question. I don't know if there's a bylaw that says anything against that, but operationally, the firefighters do need gear. It needs to be purchased. It has to be renewed. We have to buy new gear for guys that has to be under 10 years old. They can't be more than 10 years old, or they can't participate in any training sessions, or the town would be held liable. If God forbid something happened and injured the firefighter, the NFPA and the people from the investigation teams would say, oh, first off, you don't have gear that's and this could be potentially why the firefighter got hurt. So it's a dangerous wheel we spin, and we try to keep everybody's gear up to date within 10 years. So that's kind of a twofold answer for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Steves?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To follow up on that question, one is, so what exactly does this purchase? And B, I think if I remember correctly, didn't we put funds into either the budget itself or some previous allocation of funds to specifically buy a whole slew of new suits for the various firefighters? I don't remember exactly when that was, but I remember vaguely doing.
So we do have a gear replacement account. That is a program that was started many years ago. So we do put X amount of pieces of gear in each. Usually it's about 4 or 5 firefighters. Unfortunately, the price of this stuff just keeps going up and up and up. Right now, it's about $3,900 for a coat and a pair of pants. But ultimately, when all these new guys started, Deputy Hulick and I worked diligently to try to get these new guys up and going. And instead of buying them brand new gear, we were able to take the old people that retired or left the department and tried to size them appropriately in the gear that was there. Unfortunately, that didn't work out very well for these new employees. Some of them are skinnier, taller, chubbier. So we ended up having to buy a coat for this guy and maybe a pair of pants for this guy. So we had to piecemeal it all together at the beginning of the year, which ultimately gave us a shortfall for 3 full sets of gear to move forward with our program. But that's kind of the nuts and bolts of why the transfer is needed right now.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Thank you. And just for Council Marquetti, also, if you remember at the beginning of this year, when you first took office, we had a huge discussion about the ability to transfer within the budgets. And we had a conversation about in the previous, and there was legal opinions. Previously, managers in the finance department could transfer monies without coming to council for all these little amounts. And it was the decision of the council at the end of the year that all these transfers would come. In previous years, it was a percentage, or they had the ability, then it went to a percentage of the total budget. So say, for instance, and I think Karen can correct me if I'm wrong, say the fire department budget was $2 million. I think the limit was 10%, I think, or 30%. So they could have 30%. So out of that all these transfers, these department heads could have made, the chief could have made these transfers with the finance director and the town manager without it even coming to town council, because it was within their appropriation. So we took it upon, there was the council's decision at the beginning of this year that all these transfers would come. And this is what I said at that time, that just be prepared at the end of the fiscal year. We're going to be doing a lot of transfers within the budgets of when numbers change and everything, just so for the public as well as why all these transfers are coming.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
and Counselor Nash.
Yes. Motion carries. Item 24, vote to approve a police department transfer from account number 001210-5110000 salary, account number 001210-5117000 part-time salary, in amount of $3,500 due to increased costs for additional hours for per diem dispatches due to staffing shortages and coverage while we continue to hire trained new employees. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? And I think the chief warned us that this was coming. So any questions for the chief? Councilor Nash, did you have a question?
No, sir.
Okay. Any questions, Councilor Marquetti?
Well, again, back in February, we voted, I think, $28,000 for police dispatch. Then our last meeting, I think we voted $5,000 per diem, an additional $5,400 to cover holiday pay. I'm curious as when this is going to end. We've been talking about these dispatchers for a long time. Okay, I'll stop.
What's it?
Who wants to answer?
No, it's all right. Further.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just through you. Yeah, Council Marquetti, you are correct. There was 28,000 in February, and it was actually 5,000 on June 8th. So far, we're about 33,000 in. Now, this line item, every year, again, you guys hear me say it, it's always underfunded. I always ask for more during the budget process. It's often denied. So this particular incident, I'll tell you, it's been a strange year. We cannot keep dispatches, so we have to keep filling this with per diem staff and part-time staff. We had a gentleman last week or the week before come in, he worked 8 hours and went home. I don't think people realize what they're signing up for when they want to be a dispatcher in Southbridge. We had another dispatcher, a woman who had left. I think she lasted like 10 hours, 8 hours one shift, 2 hours the following, and she got up and walked away. It's an overwhelming, it is a job that is just not for everybody. So we kind of been trying to plug holes, and we're hiring 2 more dispatchers now. And I hope Council Marquetti, when the new fiscal year starts, that I certainly don't have to come back and continue to ask for transfers into part-time salary. But it's just was killing us this year. Literally, we can't fill shifts. We need 8 people to be working. Right now we have 6. We have 8 budgeted, but only 6 working, and it's just a continuous cycle. We just keep losing people again because the job is, not what a lot of people think it is. That's the only reason I can give you for that.
All right, thank you. I completely understand. I was just curious how long this is going to go on.
I hope, just like you do, Council, that this stops with the new fiscal year. And I hope the new people that we're bringing on board can last, because it's a great job. It's just you need to know what you're getting into before you start.
Chief, just there's a follow-up question. On that salary account, your full-time dispatchers are within that salary account, correct? So are you moving money from a full-time dispatcher that didn't work, part of that pot? Is that correct?
Correct, sir. The 5110 salary account is where the full-time dispatchers are. This is just part-time salary. And this number actually would have been worse, but we haven't had to pay crossing guards since the pandemic. So it's crazy. I know it's ridiculous to transfer $33,000, but it's the only way we could cover shifts. And I'm going to try to recoup some of this money because some of this was COVID related for coverage. So I'm hoping to recoup some of it, but I can't promise you that.
Thank you. Any other questions for the chief? Or Karen? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
and Counselor Steves.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 25, vote to approve a police department transfer from account number 001210-511000 salary to account number 001210-542200 data processing supplies in the amount of $8,000 to cover the cost to purchase computers which are currently operating on the Windows 7. And I know Councilor Nash reached out today to ask if these were replacement computers. So I believe they are replacement, but I'll defer to the chief. Chief?
You didn't ask
If
for
I
a motion.
could, through you, Mr.
I
Chair.
mean, motion. I'm sorry. Thank you. Hold on. Motion.
So moved.
Councilman? Thank you. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Council Daniel. Okay. Thank you, Councilman. We're only at number 25, so thank you for the reminder. Chief?
And again, through you, Mr. Chair, this I spoke about, I think, maybe last month or the month before. Essentially, we have 7 machines in my building right now that are all operating on Windows 7. We've had numerous issues with them. My IT person is telling me that we're getting notifications from Microsoft that they no longer provide any type of customer support because the software is so outdated. So essentially what this would do is it would replace computers that are 10 years old at least, and we'd bring in new machines instead of on the Windows 7, I believe it would be with Windows 10, and it would hopefully last us for another 10 years. The issue that we have is when one of these things goes down, it stores a lot of data, and I don't want to lose any of it. And yes, it's backed up in a server that we have, but it's very difficult for us to complete reports on computers that shut down. They can't print. They lose reports and things like that. So this is just a long time in the coming, and I know we're in a freeze, and I know we're in a difficult time, but we need new equipment. We have to keep moving forward and still operate.
Okay. Any other discussion? Questions? Councilor Nash?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. My comment wasn't actually a question, it was a suggestion. So at this time, I'll move to amend this motion to read, if we can just do it very quickly, after the $8,000 to cover costs to purchase replacement computers for ones currently operating on Windows 7.
Okay.
I'll second that.
I'll entertain that. Is that a friendly amendment, Councilor Steves?
Sure.
Good with that, Councilor Nash?
I have no objection. The wording just wasn't right in the motion.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's no objection to the friendly amendment, any discussion on it as amended? So it'll be in the amount of $8,000 to cover costs for replacement of computers currently operating on the Windows 7 platform. Okay. Seeing no, roll call.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
and Counselor Adams.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 26, vote to approve a police department transfer from account number 001210-513-200 training to account number 001210-527-100 gearing uniforms in the amount of $600 for one new uniform for one of our three recruit officers. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Chief?
Yeah, well, this one's rather easy to explain. We have three new police recruits that are in the academy. They're scheduled to graduate hopefully within a month, but who knows how that's going to go with our current public health crisis. Each of them is going to get one uniform. I did not budget for this originally because when recruits start the academy, many of them do not finish. So I didn't want to tie up monies that we were never going to use. And I'm hoping again, now that they're at this point where there's about 4 weeks left, I anticipate they're graduating. So now I'm bringing it forward to the council. As far as where it's coming from, I know there'll probably be questions as far as the training account. This account historically is zeroed out by now, but I believe Ms. Blakely mentioned it earlier as far as conferences. Since mid-March, we have had absolutely no training offered to police. Mandated training that you have to go to is being done online and remotely. It will not always be like that because the training isn't nearly as quality when it's online as far as in the police world. So I have money in that training account left over only because of the pandemic. Usually this would all be spent by now.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
and Counselor Catrona.
Yes.
Motion carries. 27, vote to approve a police department transfer from account number 001210-513-200 training to account project number 84240 Central Dispatch, in the amount of $13,000 for the communications center as described on the attached form. Just for the public, would be for the communications, 3 public safety grade dispatch chairs, 2 desktops that will replace computers currently operating on Windows 7 that are 10 years old, 4 monitors that will be replaced, outdated equipment that's more than 20 years old, as well as additional licensing fees for E911 recordings that are required to remain in-house for evidentiary purposes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion?
Oh, no.
Any discussion on this? Chief?
Just so the council's aware of what's happening. The 3 public safety dispatch chairs, when we originally started looking at this project with the former fire chief, it was myself, Chief DeFranzo, and a few others. Our chairs were in, they weren't in the best of condition, but we thought we could make it last. Now with the new complex up and running, the chairs they're pulling them in from like the break room. These dispatchers have to sit in these chairs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They need a good quality public safety grade chair. The desktops that we have, again, they're running on Windows 7. And what's happening is some of the newer technology that's being brought in as far as radio comms, dispatching and things like that, they're not compatible. We tried upgrading the existing computers because I did not want to have to come and ask for another transfer for this particular project. But I'm being told that they cannot even be upgraded because it's 10 years old. The monitors that we have, some of them are there from when I started in that building. Well, the building went up in 97. So we definitely got our use out of those. It's kind of a hodgepodge, just kind of like all pieced together, making it work. And again, 4 years ago, when we initially looked at this, we were trying to keep costs down, and we just glossed over the fact that we were gonna need chairs, computers, monitors, because we thought we could get away with the existing equipment. And there was another fee that was added to this, the additional licensing fee. No one was aware of, not even the project manager. You had to pay for an additional license for 911 because right now our records officer, and you have to keep the continuity of evidence in the court system. When defense attorneys request, and Chairman Jovan, you'll know about that. When defense attorneys request, calls, radio traffic calls, all the communications that we have, and they want our recordings, it has to go from our police department, chain of custody, right to the defense attorney or to the court. The way that it's configured now, if we didn't get this 911 set up, is my IT people would have to go over to the fire department and retrieve recordings, and it's only a matter of time before the integrity of that evidence and the chain of command, it's going to be questioned. So that whole package deal would do the chairs, the desktops, the monitors, and that 911 licensing fee. It would hopefully wrap up and put a bow on this giant project that's hopefully coming to an end soon.
Okay, Councilman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. And I think this is probably a question for Ms. Harnoy. With regards to the computers, has it ever been looked into with leasing computers? Because, I mean, computers, they change constantly. Every 2 to 3 years, you really should be replacing. The Windows, the software is always being upgraded by, if we're on Microsoft, by Microsoft. So would it be beneficial for the town to look into leasing computers instead of buying them outright? And I think it would be, personally, I think it would be better for the employees. I mean, that way they're not risking, losing things. A computer being down. If it is down, call them up and have them come fix it. So that's the question.
Chief, do you want to respond first?
Yeah, if Ms. Harris, if you don't mind, Councilman, I appreciate the thought on that. And the only thing I would say is we can currently buy through off the state bid list, very well-equipped Dell desktops, for about $1,500 a piece. And once that software, say a couple of years from now, Windows comes out with a new platform, we can usually upgrade them for relatively short money. So that's why we can make these things. We have a great IT people. One of my guys, Jerry Avello, does it for us, and then Will at the town hall. They do a good job making these things last. So some of these machines that we're talking about tonight are actually 10 years old, and we didn't really have any problems with them until now. So I guess it's either way you look at it, leasing. I guess if you're a large company, but for us, I just think with the short money of $1,500 a desktop, I can go either way with it. I'll leave that at that.
So I'm just not talking about the police department. I'm talking about the town in general.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody's ever looked into that just to see if it would be beneficial to the town because, computers, like I said, 2-3 years, there's always something new coming out, new technology, maybe your video card doesn't work correctly, the software. So that's all.
Karen, do you have anything else to add, or are you all set?
I think I'm all set. I'm not sure that we've looked into it. I'll mention it to Will and see if he thinks that that's something feasible, that we should look into. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this line item? Or this agenda item? Seeing none, roll call?
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
and Counselor Daniel.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item 28, vote to approve a town manager finance transfer from account number 019000000-5211000 natural gas to account number 0012975210000 electricity streetlights, the amount of $35,000 to cover costs through June 30th, 2020. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? Motion a second. Karen?
Yeah, I'll start off if I could. I was hoping we didn't have to come back for a large transfer. I believe we did maybe like a $5,000 one the last time, and I said that I would wait and see how much we would need to cover through June. But as Heather had mentioned before, she had looked into it, the cost of the streetlights plus the increase in the rate of National Grid has really hit us pretty hard. So we do need to have a transfer into that account. And the reason why I'm taking it from the natural gas is because we had a good amount of savings in there. The town hall switched over from oil to natural gas, and we do have some decent amount of savings. So we were able to transfer it from that account. Heather, do you have anything else to add to it, or?
The only thing I would say is that we've been conservative in our estimate here, hoping that we will have enough to cover the solar costs, which we really don't know what they're going to be, and we won't know until the middle of June, which that comes out of this part of that reimbursement comes out of that cost, and then the bill for National Grid for June itself. So it might not be 35. This isn't a very conservative estimate. Hopefully that we're conservative enough and to be able to cover the cost.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Sorry, go ahead, Council Catrona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to Aaron, what is the amount that's left in the natural gas account now?
There's actually approximately $54,000 left in the natural gas.
Okay. If we're not using that or all of that, can that monies be transferred to the stabilization fund?
It could be, but I guess I would suggest at this time that we probably just let it close out to the general fund, to the free cash, so that we might have a little bit to use there, because we still haven't finalized where we'll be with the revenues. So a revenue deficit would be that the expenses actually exceed the revenues, which hopefully we won't be in that type of a situation. So I just recommend to leave the difference between the 35 and the 54.
Thank you.
Thank you. And either way, it goes back to council oversight, because if it goes to free cash, we would vote on that anyway, correct, Karen?
Correct, yes.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Marquetti.
I just was wondering what happened to the savings from the LED lights that we were told back in, I think it was in May, we were gonna save $30,000, and sorry, you're muted.
Go ahead, Heather.
That program hasn't started yet. That will be something in the next year that we will see that savings. They haven't done the upgrades yet. We haven't entered into that program to be able to start that yet.
All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes,
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
and Counselor Jovan.
Yes. Motion carries. Item 29, vote to approve a town manager finance transfer from account number 001495-513100 snow and ice overtime to account number 001543-511000 salaries, community center veterans in the amount of $2,868 to cover payroll costs through June 30th, 2020 due to reorganization and training for the new veteran service director. Is there a motion?
So move.
A second?
Second.
Council Nash, second. Council Daniel moved. Any questions on this? Comments? And for Council Marquetti.
I thought we weren't allowed to touch snow and ice during the budget deliberations. I questioned maybe we could cut some of the snow and ice to save some money, and we were told that we cannot touch it, cannot cut it.
Okay, I'll have Karen answer that. Karen?
If I could, what we can't change is the appropriation. We have to appropriate the same amount or more on the following year from the year before, but when there is excess in between the two accounts, between overtime and the other account, there's approximately 150,000 left this year in snow and ice. So we can move it to another account. That is allowed.
I see. So I used the wrong language. Instead of saying, I would like to cut it, I should have said, let's move it. Thank you.
If I could, Mr. Chair, no, you can't do that at all. So right now we've been appropriating 400,000. So according to the Mass General Law, we can't go any lower than 400,000. But if there's excess after the winter months, then we can move the funds to fund something else in the budget. But we can't fund it any less from year to year. Unfortunately, that's one of the accounts that we don't have that ability to do that, to cut it.
Councilor Nash, do you have a question? You all set?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Fortunately, we're in a position where we have money left and not going over, so I get Councilor Marquette's point, but otherwise, money goes back to free cash, correct? Karen, at the end of the year?
That's correct, yes.
All right. So out of this right now, we're taking 2868. I think there's one more or two more items on that. So there'll still be money left in that snow and ice account, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions, comments, discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Counselor Marquetti?
Yes.
Counselor Nash?
Yes.
Counselor Steves?
Yes.
Counselor Adams?
Yes.
Counselor Catrona?
Yes.
Counselor Daniel?
Yes.
Counselor Jovan?
Yes.
And Counselor Manna?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 30, vote to approve a finance transfer from account number 019-00000-521200 heat and fuel to account number 001910-517500 Medicare in the amount of $5,000 to cover Medicare payroll costs through June 30th, 2020. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion? Questions on this? Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Just the heat, when I see heat and fuel, I think of the separate account that we used to have to help people in town. So if Karen could just explain it. The heating and fuel.
Sure, if I can, Mr. Chairman. The heating fuel is actually the oil account. And the only building that we have left on the oil is the DPW. And I believe that well, it's closed down now, but the animal control shelter used some oil too. So we have about a little over 13,000 left in the oil or heating fuel account. And the Medicare, it's kind of hard. We were hoping that we'd have enough money, but with when we get new employees and the such that, it's hard to estimate sometimes. So we need a little bit extra in the Medicare account to cover through the year-end payrolls.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion, comments, questions? Seeing none, roll call?
Counselor Nash?
Yes.
Counselor Steves?
Yes.
Counselor Adams?
Yes.
Counselor Catrona?
Yes.
Counselor Daniel?
Yes.
Counselor Jovan?
Yes.
Counselor Manna?
Yes.
And Counselor Marquetti?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 31, vote to approve a finance transfer from account number 001910-519300 in-service training to account number 001910-515100 sick vacation buyback in the amount of $469.78 to cover sick and vacation buyback due to a long-time employee retirement. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Discussion, questions, comments? Seeing none? Councilor Marquetti, you have a question?
I was just curious who's retiring, if that's allowed to ask. Long-time employee.
I'm sorry, what was the question, Councilor Marquetti?
Am I allowed to ask who is retiring?
Or who retired?
Oh, sure. It was Mike Trombley, the Community Services Veterans Director.
Oh, okay, thank you. I wish him the best of luck.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Mann,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes,
and Counselor Nash.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 32, vote to approve a transfer from finance regarding virus items from account number 001141-530000, assessor specialized services to account number 001141-511000, assessor salaries in the amount of $1.30 to cover payroll costs due to rounding. Account number 001141-530000, assessor specialized services to account number 001141-511500, assessor salaries elected in the amount of 72 cents to cover payroll costs due to rounding. Account number 01141-530000, assessor specialized services to account number 001141-511600, assessor salaries appointed in the amount of 36 cents to cover payroll costs due to rounding. Account number 001240-558000, inspection miscellaneous materials to account number 001240-511600, inspection salaries appointed in the amount of 80 cents to cover payroll costs due to rounding. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on this one? Council Manna?
I just I'm gonna put it out there. This is crazy. This shouldn't have happened. 80 cents, 36 cents, I mean, and that's all. Don't shoot me because I'm saying that. I'm just expressing my opinion.
You have a right to an opinion, Counselor. So, Counselor, Ms. Heinrich?
I'll just explain really quickly. Usually we always round up when we round the salaries because we budget in whole dollars, but evidently there was one department and then one other that didn't round up quite enough. And also due to the munis, some accounts round up, some round down now. So we just had these small changes we got to get rid of. I understand.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
yes,
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
and Counselor Steves.
Yes.
Item 33, vote to approve a finance transfer from account number 001495-513100, snow and ice overtime account number 0940000-517200, unemployment in the amount of $15,000 to cover town unemployment costs through June 30th, 2020. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Karen?
Yes, thank you. I just want to give an explanation on this. I believe it's due to the COVID-19, but we haven't received an unemployment bill since February. So Melissa went and asked our consultant who got us the totals for the March through the June. Now we're budgeting a little conservatively for June, and the reason why we have some costs is because there were some library employees that were actually laid off, and they just recently came back. So like I said, this is a conservative amount, but we do need to pay for employment through the end of June. It is saving us some money in our budgets as well. The library, the salary fully expended, but we do need it here in this line item.
Thank you. Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Rosemary, I don't know what's going on with your muting and unmuting, if you can hear me. But that's not my question. So my question is this. The extra $600 a week that people who are unemployed are getting due to the COVID. Now, I know that was part of some act that, was it part of the CARES Act? I'm not sure. Is the town going to be responsible in any way, for a percentage of that $600? Is that going to cost the town any extra, the extra money that the unemployed were getting? like our employees?
Yeah, quite honestly, I'm not sure if that's gonna end up hitting us or not, and I don't know if, Melissa, do you have any comment on that?
It's my understanding that we're not responsible for the extra $600 and that the amount of the benefits received on our bill from the state, like the estimated amount that we have on benefits paid is the the state and or employer share that we would normally be charged. I don't believe we're even seeing the 600 in the benefit on our, what we got from the consultant, and then ultimately the detail from the Department of Unemployment is we are self-insured for employee benefits, and when benefits are paid, we are then billed. And so what I provided to Karen for the backup was, this is how much, Melissa Zawatsky received for her unemployment benefits, and this is the share that the town has to pay for Melissa's benefit. Not to comment, so I'll use myself as the example. So I believe what we're looking at in our estimates is the employer share of that unemployment and not the additional 600. That is my understanding, but honestly, I don't know. We've never done this before.
Right, so is there any way we can go back and I mean, we, not including myself, but I'm not part of that we after tomorrow. Is there any way that you can go back and look? I mean, is there something, or, because that's.
So the detail that we have provided is the benefit received, and what we'll ultimately get on the bill is the same detail. Melissa Zawatsky received $300 for the week of June 15th to the 21st. And it's itemized by week and by person, and the amount that the town is being assessed. That's what they show us. They don't.
I just, I mean, I guess it was a good gesture, if it came down from the federal and passed on to the state. But I don't ever think that any money is free money. And I think in one way or another, we're going to end up paying that back, if some of our town employees were laid off and stuff. So I don't believe it was free.
I agree with you, Ms. Manna. Nothing's ever free. We'll pay for it one way or another, but I don't believe it's on this bill, but again, I'm not sure. I believe what we're seeing is the normal share, the normal 50% of wages.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council Steves?
Yeah, through you to Karen, I assume, or maybe Melissa. I'm just curious, first of all, how much have we actually paid out in unemployment this year, including this sum?
Well, through the chair, we actually budgeted 15,000. So we're estimating 30. We hope we're a little bit on the high side with that.
And it's typically, I know typically we've been seeing a lot of it in the school side. Does that include the school side?
No, this is just totally the town. The schools is in their budget.
Yeah. Do you know how much they've done for unemployment?
I do not. I know that it's come down in the last several months, but I'm sorry, I don't have a tally on that.
Okay, thanks.
Any further discussion? Councilor Marquetti?
Well, due to the uncertainty, I'm glad we didn't lay off a lot of town employees. And I'm glad to hear that they're coming back to work, and I'm looking forward to the library opening up. I miss going to the library. I like it. It's a great place to get books and hang out and talk to people. And I'm looking forward to the whole town getting back to normal. So thank you.
Thank you, Council. Anything further? Say none, roll call.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Gravon,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
and Counselor Adams.
Yes.
Thank you. just for the councilors, my intent is to get to item 38, go through that, and then we'll take a quick 10-minute break for any people that need breaks, just so everybody has a heads up of where we're at. So, okay. So, item 34, vote to approve repairs to a private way for the end of Currowell Avenue up to $500 in accordance with Chapter 8, Section 8-102. Is there a motion?
Second.
For a second. Motion is second. Heather, you have any information you want to provide? That was part of the private ways, but we have everything in place.
We have
correctly?
everything in place. I think you all received a copy of the petition. The May 4th was the date they started it. It wasn't the date I received it. I am in full support. If you've been up there, this is the end. Both roads are kind of a gravel road and they need a little care every year. Every year the residents up there come in and get their petition. They know kind of the drill at this point. So I 100% support this.
Any other questions? Comments? Say none, roll call. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Steves?
Yeah,
Councilor
my
Steves,
question
go
is
ahead.
actually related to the petition directly. They specifically asked, please consider using recycled asphalt. Is that possible?
We will be looking to see if we can source any of that in short notice here. I'm not completely sure if we can, but if we can, we will.
How is that likely to affect the cost of the project? Will
It
still be
doesn't
under-
matter. We only have up to $500. It's as far as that will go.
Sure, okay.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Say none, roll call.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes,
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
and Counselor Catrona.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 35, vote to approve repairs to a private way for Stevens Street up to $500 in accordance with Chapter 8, Section 8-102. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? Motion is second. Any questions to Heather? The same petition. Councilor Adams?
Hey, Mr. Chair, through you, just Heather or Karen, how much do we budget each year for this, for the private ways again?
$2,000.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Councilor Steves?
yeah, and how many roads have we done this year? We've seen quite a few of these petitions this year, if I remember correctly.
No, you saw them last year at the end of the year, just like you're seeing them right now. We've done one road, and it wasn't even a full 500 when we got it done. So there's still over $1,500 left. Sorry. Wish it was 15,000, 1,500.
Okay. Good, that's good. Are you likely to see any more coming? I mean, no, it's very end of the season here, but yeah, have you any more petitions in the pipeline?
I wouldn't be surprised if we'll get one or two coming in the summer. Seems like we'll get a couple more, but that will be in next year's budget, not this year's.
Okay.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
and Counselor Daniel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 36, vote to ratify the agreement between the Town of Southbridge and Elite Roofing and Restoration LLC for Reservoir Number 4, lower gatehouse roof replacement in the amount of $20,500 to be funded from the account number 610-450-583-000-20584, the Reservoir and Dams Capital. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? Motion and second. Heather?
Yep, this is for the replacement of one of the reservoir roofs. We already have the materials. I've spoke a little bit about this project. We have multiple small reservoir gatehouses up there in the reservoirs that have very deteriorated old roofs on them. This one's actually asbestos that needs to be removed. We did, through our vendor that assists on a roofing project, attempt to attain multiple quotes. I believe the only one we were able to actually obtain
He went out for quotes for multiple places and got this one quote. He was happy with it. We're happy with it. I recommend it moves forward.
Any other questions? Council Steves?
You mentioned that you already have the materials. Are any of these materials coming from like leftover stuff from from when you did the water project?
That's where they're coming from.
That's where it is? Okay.
Yep.
Good.
So there will be a metal roof very similar to the one at the water treatment plant.
Any other questions, comments? Council Marquetti?
On this one, I'm gonna have to vote no, because I think that we should try to save some money. I know that with our water and sewer rates as high as they are, I'd like to see more of the money go towards forestalling our rate increases. So I realize maybe the roof is in bad shape, but I'd rather see you just try and patch it for now. Hold off for another year anyway, because I'd like to save some money. I also would like to point out that this money that you're taking it from, I think it was eliminated in the budget. At least I looked at the budget, and I looked at I think it was coming out of an account that was $61,000, and then the town manager had $100,000. I'm pretty sure, I just looked at it today, that it was coming out of my account. I looked at the account number and it was completely eliminated. But anyways, that's not my point. My point is, I think we should save this year and just do some patching on it. That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Mina?
Did you say Council Mina?
Yep, sorry, I did.
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti?
No.
Counselor Nash?
Yes.
Counselor Steves?
Yes.
Counselor Adams?
Yes.
Counselor Catrona?
No.
Counselor Daniel?
Yes.
And Counselor Jovan?
Yes. Motion carries. Item 37, vote to ratify amendment number 1 from Vanas, Hagen, Breslin, BHB for the downtown intersection improvement project in the amount of $480,000 for engineering services in support of the Hook, Hamilton, and Central Street TIP project for tasks listed, including 75% design submission to PS&E submission. The project will be funded from existing fiscal year 2018 project number 64610 for $180,000, fiscal year 2021 capital for $125,000, water fiscal year 2021 capital for $87,500, and sewer FY 2021 capital for $87,500. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Council Manna, seconded by Councilor Daniel. Heather?
So this is our TIP project, the engineering associated with the TIP project, to continue to move the project forward. We spoke many times during the capital process about the next phases of the process of the project and having to fund them. We did have some money already funded from FY18, as it's shown here, and the additional funds that were approved this year would go to cover the remaining parts of this project. There will be one phase that isn't included here, but we, at the time of talking to VHB, they also agreed until we get into construction and get through the PS&E, which is the last thing before it goes out into bid, it would be better just to wait until we know we're getting closer to that, and we'll have to allocate funds at that time. The funds they estimate then are much lower. It's more like 30 to 40 grand.
Okay. Questions, comments? Councilor Catrona?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you. Just a comment, I guess, on this. I cannot support this, as I did not during the capital discussions. With the uncertainty of the town, as I've stated in the past right now, and the finances, I can't justify spending this money right now. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Request for information? Councilor Steves?
One is a quick comment, just for clarification for anybody who might be watching, Heather. PS&E means?
Oh, goodness. It has to do with the state's final review, and I don't know that it's not. Project, no,
Submission and something?
yeah. It's professional. It's the last thing that is done before it goes out to bid.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
understand that.
requirement from the state, so it's their acronym. I don't.
Right. And then the other thing is just kind of a response to what Councilor Cotrona just said. I understand your point, but also I think that this is something we've already approved. It's a project that's ongoing. It really needs to get done. I'm sure you've driven Central Street and Hook Street, and they're awful, dangerous, especially at that intersection. So I'm definitely for this.
Thank you, Council Steve. Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. So the money that's earmarked in from the 2018 project, the $180,000, that can't be used for anything else. It has to be used for this project. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that was the way it was voted in 2018, yes.
Okay. Karen, is that, I mean, if this project didn't move forward for some reason, what would happen to this money?
Through the chair, we could reallocate it or we could close it.
Okay, but right now this is, yeah, I agree with Councilor Steves, and I understand Councilor Catrona, but you know what? Sorry, you just can't keep putting Band-Aids and Band-Aids, because before you know it, we're gonna need more than 10 stitches. We're gonna need 20, 30, 40 stitches. So I support this. Thank you.
Councilor Catrona?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to go back to, I think it was Councilor Steves that mentioned PSNE. It's a commonly known acronym, plan specifications and estimates. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Catrona. Any further, Councilor Marquetti?
I'm going to have to agree with Councilor Catrona on this one. I think that, I agree that the intersection is not the greatest intersection. I think it could be scaled back a little bit. I just feel that we need to hold off on this one, at least this year anyway. This thing's been on the book for 10 years. I don't think a couple more years is going to hurt. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Marquetti. Any further, Councilman?
So just to follow up to Councilor Marquetti, I mean, if he says this has been on the book for 10 years, which anyways, and it can hold off for a couple more years, then the money's still sitting there. So we're not using that money, and the money's already been, it's been voted on for the capital. So I just I say, look, we need to get it done. And that's all.
Thank you. Councilor Steves?
Thanks. Also, I don't mean to dogpile on Councilor Marquetti here, but I agree with Councilor Manna there. And I think part of it is also that if we don't fund it and we kind of drop the ball in the middle of this project, what happens? Because we're also working with the feds to do this. And I would love to, and I would imagine that if we kind of drop our share of the ball in this project, the feds just kind of drop us behind the deadline there, and they go on to somebody else. And then that project doesn't take a couple of extra years. It may take 15 more years to do, or something. Who knows when we would end up being in the pipeline again.
Thank you. Councilor Steves, good point. Heather?
I just wanted to confirm that if we decide not to continue forward on this project, we will be dropped from the TIP program and moved backwards, and may actually endanger having to reapply, which would start a whole another 5-year cycle of the project being delayed. If we don't continue forward, we will be jeopardizing receiving the federal funding to do this project.
Heather, a question that I have, and then I'll defer to Councilor Adams. How much is the federal portion of this, and how much are the feds going to contribute to this project?
When it gets into construction, they're contributing the majority of the funds. There's some discussion still that has to go on with the next phases regarding whether La Rochelle Way is going to qualify. There's some negotiations that have to be done, but it looks like they're going to cover 100% of the funds for the construction of the project. So that means it's, $2 to $3 million.
So the feds are going to pay $3 million on our $500,000 investment. I just want to make sure the public knows that we're trying to invest for the future and take something. So our $500,000 is going to turn into a $3 million infrastructure project to replace and fix roads that everybody in this council, in this town, complains about. I just want to make sure the public is aware of that. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Council Adams?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Asked the question I was about to ask, but I just put my 2 cents in there. Another infrastructure project within our town again. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Council Catrone?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just again, I wasn't going to comment anymore, but I certainly will after listening to everyone. When we have residents that we have to answer to that can't pay their tax bills, we have so many residents right now still unemployed, potentially don't know what income that we're going to be getting from the state or the federal government. We don't know if we're going to be making cuts townwide. I just cannot justify putting this money towards this project at this time. It doesn't make sense to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Council Marquetti,
No.
Council Nash,
Yes.
Council Steves,
Yes.
Council Adams,
Yes.
Council Catrona,
No.
Council Daniel,
Yes.
Council Jovan,
Yes.
and Council Manna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 38, vote to ratify the deferred payment loan agreement between the town of Southbridge and Globe Village LLC in the amount of $43,100 for the fabrication and installation of a freestanding plaza sign funded by fiscal year 2018-2019 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, under the Commercial Rehabilitation Activity. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Councilor Adams, did this go to your subcommittee? I believe?
It did, Mr. Chair. Thank you. It was voted on 5-0 in favor of. And I'll let pass on to Karen or Rosemary if they want to brief this.
Good
I know
evening.
Rosemary's on.
Yep.
Go ahead, Rosemary.
Sure, thank you. So Globe Village LLC, owner of the Big Bonnie Plaza, has applied to the town's CDBG Commercial Rehab Program for the fabrication and installment of a new plaza sign. So the commercial rehab activity that we have applied for under our CDBG grant several times provides funds to commercial property owners or business owners to replace signs, awnings, and facades. The funds are provided, the way the program was set up is the funds are provided under a deferred payment loan agreement that's 100% forgivable if the loan applicant retains the business in town at that location for at least 5 years. The entire loan must be paid back if the applicant closes or moves the business out of town within a year from the execution of the agreement. If the business closes or is moved after the first year but before the 5th year, the portion that must be repaid is proportional to the time remaining of the 5-year period. At this point, we're requesting approval to execute a deferred loan agreement with Globe Village LLC in the amount of $43,100. That is the lowest acceptable quote we received after advertising a request for quotes. So I had also attached that loan agreement and the materials for the RFQ.
Thank you. Any questions? Councilor Steves?
It does seem like 43,000 is a little expensive for signs, but I know what Big Bunny already has out there. But I know as far as the whole idea of five years and not that time frame that she mentioned, it's like, Big Bunny's definitely not going anywhere. So they're certainly a safe investment.
I agree.
Thank you. I know Mr. Knoyer is on call as well. So any other questions, comments? Councilor Adams?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You just want to caveat a little bit. We discussed this on the 15th of June. We had, and Rosemary can correct me if I'm wrong, we discussed how much money we still had in FY18 funds, which was about $44,114. And then FY19 CBG funds for this was about $60,000 as well. The only thing that came, well, there was quite a bit of good conversation about this project, about the signage. One question that I came up with myself was the sign did not meet our current sign bylaws that we passed last year or something like that. So I asked Rosemary to submit the ZBA paperwork, which all the town councils should have. So the only question I do have, and I apologize to Rosemary, usually I'll ask one of these questions if I catch it in time, but on the ZBA, the variance that they requested back in February, they had a public meeting. The ZBA paperwork stated that on the first page, it says sign with one of the same size on a property identified as Southbridge Assessor's map, that's map 33, parcel 134. And also the paperwork that was submitted to the town clerk, I forget what day, submitted on April 8th. It also says the same thing, relief requested public notice, replace an existing sign with a new sign of the same size. So maybe I'm missing something on the Mass General Law, but shouldn't there be something in there about saying that this was not the same size?
Well, so it is the same size as the sign that's there. But the new sign bylaw that was passed a year or two ago, it no longer allows it. The maximum plaza sign size is smaller than that. So that's what required the applicant to get a variance from the ZBA.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rosemary. I appreciate you clarifying that for me. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this item?
Well, I have a comment that I made, a question that I had at the meeting was also through you, Mr. Chairman, the fact that the sign's going to have flashing lights and digital, that's also against the sign bylaw. But I didn't see anything in here about getting a variance on that.
So if I can respond to that, Chairman. I worked with the town planner, Eric Rumsey, who worked on getting that passed, that new sign bylaw passed. And he helped me craft some wording that went into the request for quotes. And I believe you have it in your packet, but I'll just read it for you. Under the section on the request for quotes where it says electronic message center box, we stated that, first of all, we talked about what the size should be. And then we said, must have the following capability functionality. And then those bulleted items, which I'll read, are pulled right from the sign bylaw to make sure that it wouldn't be in violation. So the first bullet item states, it must have the functionality to have a static image for 6 seconds before changing to a different static image. Changes must be instantaneous without movement between changes, such as wipes, zooms, and dissolves. I think if you I guess, fabricate signs, you'd know what all this means. Also that the sign should have the functionality of deactivating flashing and or chasing lights, so that, you know, a lot of these signs have many capabilities, but they can be customized. The software within them can be customized to meet the regulations of the given town where they're placed. Then the last bulleted item is that the sign must have the functionality to be dimmable during non-daylight hours to avoid glare onto roadway and neighboring properties. So all of that kind of met the what was either required or forbidden in the sign bylaw.
All right, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Okay. Thank you for that information. Any other discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
and Counselor Nash.
Yes. Motion carries. Okay, we'll take a quick 5 minutes or 10 minutes. What's good for people? We'll go 10. We'll say 5, but we'll probably go 10 by the time everybody gets back. Okay. So we'll be in recess for 10 minutes. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Each person has 30 days to complete the ethics training. And I know a lot of them, I guess most of them say that it's subject to that. So I just wanted to explain.
Yes, thank you. Just when there's the rest of council, in regards to that, when this was brought up for the reappointments, conversation was had. I know we've had conversations about reappointments. According to Yvonne, what she stated was that all the chairmen of these boards were contacted. It was their recommendation for the reappointments. The question had come about people not completing the state ethics training. So I had asked her to research the law, and if the law stated a certain number of days, that's what we would state on the reappointment and give them the opportunity to take that reappointment. If they don't, then we would then take action to either fill the position with somebody else or follow up. Councilor Steves, you have a question before we proceed?
Yeah, just one quick question about that. What about the people who have standing ethics certifications for another board? Would those still be valid?
I believe so, yes. As long as they were active, it would just have to be an active ethics certificate. So as long as they can produce an active ethics training for boards or commissions, then I would assume that they would be correct. Okay?
Yeah, I would too. Yeah.
What's that? Go ahead, Councilor Steves.
And I would agree the same thing. That's what I figured too. So
yeah, because I know I've had to take it for being a police officer and then on town council and fire station building committee and different boards. So I know I've given the same certificate for multiple things as long as it's active. Okay. All right. Very good. Item 39. Vote to confirm the reappointment of Margaret Morrissey as director of the Jacob Edwards Library for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the state ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on this one? No. Great job by Margaret. So happy to support that. Seeing no discussion. Oh, go ahead.
Why is her job a reappointment? Why isn't she just treated as a standard town employee with one of those open-ended hirings? Karen?
I'm not sure either. I guess I would think it's maybe one of the positions that's in the charter that has to be reappointed. But I don't know for sure, quite honestly.
We could reappoint it so that she's reappointed for July 1st, and we can research that question through general government and take a look at that positions or any other positions we may have questions for. I'll just write a note for that so that we don't hold up her reappointment.
I don't have a problem with reappointing her. I'm just curious why it's a 3-year appointment.
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Seeing no further questions. Well, we do reappoint the director of inspections, the DPW director, so it could be something in the in that, but I don't know. So we do have other positions that I'm thinking off the top of my head that we do 3-year appointments. So I'm not sure what that is. So could be something in the general law. So, okay. All right, roll call.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
and Counselor Steves.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 40, vote to confirm the reappointment of Anna Smith as landfill coordinator for a 1-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021,
pending completion of conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Council Steves? You're muted, Council Steves.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if Andy's online, but maybe you can answer it, Karen. I know we've kind of talked about this. How much longer is the landfill coordinator's job even going to be necessary? I mean, the capping, if I remember correctly, maybe I'm just answering my own question, that it was going to probably be maybe another 2 years or something, but that was some time ago. So I could be wrong with that number.
Yeah, what I believe is it is through at least the capping, the closing, because we do want someone to look out for, the town of Southbridge's interests in it. But I'm not sure exactly how long that will take to close.
Any other discussion? We can research that and get back on that one as well. Been none, roll call?
Counselor Catrona,
No.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
No.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
and Counselor Adams.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 41, vote to confirm the reappointment of Carmen Rivera as parking ticket clerk for a 1-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
and Counselor Catrona.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 42, vote to confirm the appointment of Keith Roberts as Veterans Grave Officer for a 1-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, and completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion and a second. Discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
and Counselor Daniel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 43. I just closed my video for people to know because my computer's going a little slow, so I'm just trying to speed it up a little bit. Vote to confirm the reappointment of Sergeant Ryan Rudiger to the Commission of Disability for a 1-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, pending completion of conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
and Counselor Jovan.
Yes. Motion carries. Item 44, vote to confirm the reappointment of Caitlin Spencer as the Animal Control Officer for a 1-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, pending the completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? Discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
and Counselor Manna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 45, vote to confirm the reappointment of Rodrigo Arroyo as a police auxiliary for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second? That motion is second. Any discussion? Any questions? I think the chief is still on if there's any questions on that. Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
and Counselor Marquetti.
Yes.
Item 46, vote to confirm the reappointment of Ted Biba as a police auxiliary for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
and Counselor Nash.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 47, vote to confirm the reappointment of Philip Cepeda as a call firefighter for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Any question? Is there a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay, motion is second. Any questions, comments? Request for information? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
and Counselor Steves.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 48, vote to confirm the reappointment of Callie Ray Matthew as a call firefighter for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions, comments? Request for information? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
and Counselor Adams.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 49, vote to confirm the reappointment of Christopher Olivo as a firefighter auxiliary for a 1-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, pending completion of a conflict of interest law ethics training. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Motion is second. Motion by Councilor Catrona, second by Councilor Manna. Any questions, comments, requests for information? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Okay, is that it? Motion carries?
that was it.
Okay, thank you. Item 50, vote to confirm the appointment of Jose Perez as a firefighter auxiliary for a 1-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, pending completion of conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
and Counselor Daniel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 51, vote to confirm the reappointment of Paul Tatro to the Southbridge Airport Commission for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
And a second. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
and Counselor Jovan.
Yes. Motion carries. Item 52, vote to confirm the reappointment of Nicole Duffy to the Board of Health for a 3-year term effective July 10th. That must be July 1st, I'm sorry. July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion? Second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Councilor Nash?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I'm pleased to see Ms. Duffy seeking reappointment. She is a fine candidate once again, as she was when she was appointed to the Board of Health. So my comment is the same as it has been in years past, that members of boards with such responsibility in normal times really should be brought forward for subcommittee discussion with credentials as we would with other appointments. I feel this way about the Board of Health and the Planning Board in particular tonight. I just want to state for the record that I feel this way. I've said it before. I know that in uncommon times, sometimes things don't happen the way we'd like, but these are important positions. Not that any of the others that we might look at aren't important, but when it comes to Board of Health, Planning Board, and the like, I really think that we need to make sure that if those positions are up for either reappointment or if they are just vacancies, those should be added to the list that we referenced early in the meeting. That's enough for me. Thanks.
Thank you. And any other questions, comments? I would definitely put it on the list for future consideration and bring it up next council term, Council Nash. Roll call.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
and Counselor Manna.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 53, vote to confirm the reappointment of Theodore Bartlett to the Council on Aging for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
and Counselor Marquetti.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 54, vote to confirm the reappointment of Alan Jeske of Southbridge as a constable for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? Chief, did you have anything to add on this? Or are you just available to answer any questions?
Available to answer any questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Councilor Steves?
Quick question is, how many constables do we actually have? And quite frankly, how much do they actually do?
So, through you, Mr. Chair, I believe the charter indicates we can have up to 7. It's either our charter or the Mass General Law, but it gets capped at 7 for a community with our size. And I will tell you that I am not a huge fan of the constable process and what it entails. And the Mass Chiefs currently are working on modifying a lot of these laws on our books that are from 200 years ago that allow these guys with absolutely no training to do some pretty interesting things, we'll say. Nothing against any of these 3 candidates tonight. They've all worked in our community before. There's been a couple of issues here and there, but it's just not easy to disqualify people from applying to be a constable in our community, which frustrates me. But we're working on that at the state level. I don't want to keep you guys here all night. I would say that all we do right now is a cursory background check on these candidates, and they serve papers, divorce paperwork, things like that, door to door. I don't really feel comfortable with people going door to door and knocking on doors in our community when they're armed. And it's just, again, the whole Mass General law that needs to be changed, and it's being worked on as we speak.
Thank you, Chief. Any other comments, questions? Chief, thank you for your concerns and appreciate your input. Roll call.
Counselor Steves,
Yes, I guess.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
and Counselor Nash.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 55, vote to confirm the reappointment of Timothy Grant of Sturbridge as a constable for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion and second. Questions, comments?
Actually,
Council Steves?
it occurred to me actually just because of Mr. Grant's name, because I know that I think he's an elected constable, if I'm not mistaken, in Sturbridge. Why aren't ours elected?
Chief?
There again, well, if I could, I don't want to give you the wrong information, but I believe that that is a charter issue where Sturbridge chooses to elect, Southbridge chooses to appoint.
Do you have any preference of which way it should go?
I would like them all to, for they're no longer to be constables. But unfortunately, I don't know if we'll get there. I think what's going to happen is eventually there's going to be required to have a lot more training than they currently have. And my opinion on that would be, as long as the process is correct and they can get vetted, I have no problem with the elected body voting them in or appointing them, I should say, sorry.
And what kind of training do you think that they should be having that they don't have?
They don't have any, I guess they have some firearms training because in order to get an LTC, you need an 8-hour course, but there's no procedural training. There's no legal training required. I'm not saying they all don't have this training. Some of them are probably, reserve intermittent police officers. Some of them are retired police officers, but there are some that have no training at all in public safety, any whatsoever. De-escalating situations, arrest powers, because technically a constable has powers to arrest under the old, from, again, 200 years ago. It's just, it's crazy when you read that actual statute, what they can do right now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilor Nash, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you to the chief. Chief, I guess I'm just a little bit confused, so I'm just gonna come out and ask, but as far as you're aware, do the constables that are currently appointed, as well as the ones that are up for reappointment tonight, satisfy the code of bylaws requirement for staggered terms so that at least one expires every year? Because we're appointing 3 tonight, or potentially reappointing 3, all for the same term. I just want to make sure that we're in compliance with that.
Yes, the way that it's set up, it's a good question, Councilor Nash. The way that it's set up is kind of like the council, 3 people go out, 3 people come in, you always have 9. Similar with constables, I think 7 is the cap, and it's always staggered somehow, where there's never more than that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
and Counselor Steves.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 56, vote to confirm the reappointment of Camille Vargas Mojica as a constable. There's no town listed, so I don't know if the chief knows what town he's from a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Do I have a motion? For a second? Any discussion? Chief, do you know where this individual's from?
I believe Mr. Mojica is a Southbridge resident.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
and Counselor Adams.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 57, vote to confirm the reappointment of Arthur Martin to the Historical Commission for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Do I have a motion?
Second.
No, motion and second. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
and Counselor Catrona.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 58, vote to confirm the reappointment of Amanda Richards to the Historical Commission effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Motion is second. Any errors, corrections, or omissions? Seeing none, errors, correction, or omissions. I'm sorry. You can tell it's getting late. Any questions, comments, or requests for information? All right, seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Daniel. Counselor Daniel.
Council Daniel?
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
and Counselor Catrona.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 59, vote to confirm the reappointment of Bruce Newlands to the Liquor Licensing Board for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there a second? Motion is second. Any comments, questions? Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is something that I agree with Councilor Nash on. When these are powerful boards and they really should be made public to the community that these appointments are up and if there's any interest. So I believe it for all boards, but especially these boards. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. I'll just note for the record that this board has had an alternate position open for at least 3+ years that nobody has stepped up for. So I know at least 3 years. So and that list has been public, just as a point of information that nobody has ever stepped up to even consider getting onto that board. Councilor Nash, did you have something?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, I duly noted, and I just want to refer back to my original comment because it does apply here, that a year ago when these sorts of reappointments or appointments had been brought forward, my comments had been directed to the town manager since these appointments come from the town manager's office. And I thought that there was some agreement from him at that point in time that when these positions were up, they would be brought forward one way or another, whether it was to full council or to subcommittee, with my preference having been subcommittee, of course. So thank you for that note. I don't have any objection to this particular reappointment.
Thank you, Council. Any further questions, comments? Roll call.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
and Counselor Daniel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 60, vote to confirm the reappointment of Michael Daniels to the Liquor Licensing Board for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments on this reappointment? Councilor Nash.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, no objection to the particular person being brought up for reappointment, but back to your comment about the vacancy for 3 years for an alternate position. Does anyone know if this particular board meets at any other time short of midday around lunchtime?
That I do not know. That's a good point. I
never attended is at lunch, and I don't know how any board can really operate that way short of the businesses that come forward. Maybe that's a good time for them, but I would think that's a hindrance to candidates that maybe work out of town. Thank you.
Good point, Councilor Nash. Not what I thought of. Councilor Steves?
Yeah, I've never known them to meet anything after like 3 o'clock. Them and the zoning board tend to do really weird hours. The zoning board tends to meet at 5. But the others do evenings. I know in other towns, the liquor board is also their board of selectmen in many cases. I don't know. We do not. I personally don't see us taking on that authority, frankly, but because I think we get enough stuff to do. So, but I just thought I'd mention that.
Thank you, Council. So definitely, Councilor Nash, something to put on the list of things to look at the year why that is that way with that board, particular board, and see what changes could be made. Perhaps the discussion for the new town manager to take under his wing and see where we're at on that. As well as the other boards, considering that's been brought up before. We'll take that up with the new town manager to see if we can make some changes.
Sure.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Now you got Council Daniel.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Daniel, go ahead.
I just want to make note that even though our last names are very similar, we're not related. He's got an S on the end of his name and I don't.
Especially since I call you Councilor Daniels all the time, right? Okay, thank you. Roll call.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
and Counselor Jovan.
Yes. Item 61, vote to confirm the reappointment of Kenneth Pickren to the Conservation Commission for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, and the completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
Second.
Discussion? Questions, comments? Points of information? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
and Counselor Marquetti.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 60, vote to confirm the reappointment of Kenneth Pickren to the Southbridge Trail Committee for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion second. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
and Counselor Nash.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 63, vote to confirm the reappointment of Dale Farren to the Traffic Commission for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
Second.
Questions, comments? Councilor Steves.
I mean, my just quick question is, who else is on the traffic commission? I know Heather is, he is, and the chief is. Is anyone else on that commission?
I honestly don't know. Might be on the website. I mean, I could look it up real quick if you want. Just a second.
Last
Councilor
time
Nash?
it was one other gentleman, but it's been several months since I've attended, and I apologize. I know him, and I can't remember his name.
Yeah. You want to just give me a second? I'll look it up. Traffic Commission is right now, all it lists is Heather and Dale
I
on the
just
Traffic
noticed
Commission. What's that? I'm sorry?
I said I noticed that too, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I know the chief sits on it. I don't know if there's any other. I'll have to look up the charter to say, or the town bylaws to say, I don't have those handy with me, but what they would say under it. So, we'll take a look at that. Do you have any other questions, comments on this one? Also, Daniel?
In 2018, 2019, there was a Johnson on the commission.
Oh, that's who it was. Yes, sir. Yep. Okay, anything else? Councilman Manna, did you have anything?
No.
All right, roll call.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
and Counselor Steves.
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, hold on. We're just looking through the list that Yvonne gave me. There's no listing for an opening, so we can confirm. Okay, next, vote.
Can't hear you back.
Vote to confirm the reappointment of Richard Whitney to the Jacob Edwards Library Board of Trustees for a 3-year term, effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna, Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
and Counselor Adams.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 65, vote to confirm the appointment of I think this is a reappointment because I think we appointed him last term to the Board of Trustees, so it should be a reappointment of James Dyer to the Jacob Edwards Library Board of Trustees for a 3-year term, effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
and Counselor Catrona.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 66, vote to confirm the appointment.
3.
It should be a reappointment, correct, for Cassandra? Reappointment of Cassandra Ackley to the Planning Board for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a
So
motion?
move.
Second.
Second.
Questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
and Counselor Daniel.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 67, vote to confirm the reappointment of Lawrence Spinelli to the Planning Board for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023, pending completion of the conflict of interest law ethics training. Is there a motion?
So move.
Second.
Second.
Questions, comments? Councilor Nash.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My comments earlier would still apply. However, in this particular case, I'd like to at least point out, since tonight I've pretty much kept myself restrained. Typically, I like to say something nice about residents of this community that step up and serve. And Mr. Spinelli, has served in this capacity and in others, I want to say for more than 30 years. And that deserves a little bit of recognition. Whether or not I've always agreed with him, I respect Larry Spinelli, and I am really happy to see him stepping back up for reappointment. I appreciate his commitment to the town of Southbridge. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments, Counselor. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, roll call.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
Counselor Steves,
Yes.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
and Counselor Jovan.
Yes. Thank you for all those that have stepped up for reappointment and appointment to positions. 68, old business, status of the section 6-200 keeping of pets bylaw. Perhaps Council Manager, do you want to read this bylaw before you leave? No, I'm only kidding. That was a joke.
I'm just gonna excuse myself now and say goodbye.
We'll hopefully get that all wrapped up when we're back in council chambers. So, got to go out on a little bit of humor, Council Minute, right?
Right.
Okay, Councilors Forum. So, we'll start with Councilor Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have two quick things. One is to say thank you to Rick and Monique for serving on the council, all the stuff that you guys have done. And I've enjoyed working with you. I hope we will continue to do so in other capacities. And good luck. And the other point that I wanted to ask about is, I guess this is through you to Karen. I remember that Ron several meetings ago, I can't even remember exactly when, brought up the fact that the RMV lease needs to be renegotiated. It needs to be renewed coming up fairly soon. Is there any status on that?
Councilor Steves, I don't have a status on it, but I believe it is up in August. So
That's what I thought you said. I don't remember when I noted it, but.
Yeah, it is on my list to discuss with Ron when he comes back next week.
Okay.
So can I just follow up on that, Council Steve? I know it's Council's Forum. The town manager a couple meetings ago said that it was a year. There's another year on it. Are you now telling us that it's expired in August?
He had originally said 6 months, I think, but that's what I noted.
I think the last time I looked at it, I thought it was up this August, but I don't want to say for sure. I don't want to double check, but I think so.
Okay. Thank you. We'll have to get right on that then.
Yeah.
Council Steve's continue? Are you all set? Or are you?
That's all I had. Thanks.
Thank you. Council Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I do caveat off what Councilor Steve said. I wish all the Monique and Rick, I wish you guys nothing but the best. Thank you for serving your community in such large capacity that you've done over the years. Welcome the new councilors come to 6th, and I wish everybody a happy 4th. That's it.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Catrona.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, I'd also like to wish Councilor Nash and Councilor Manna say thank you, wish them the best. Please stay involved. Hope to see you on a committee. And looking at the time, I'll reserve the rest of my comments for another meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Marquetti.
Yeah, I'll keep it short. It's been a long meeting, so I just would also like to thank Councilor Nash and Councilor Manna for serving, and I wish you the best of luck and have fun in your year off. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Nash.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the nice, kind words. I'll be rather brief myself tonight. I think I said enough up front, and I've said enough in 3 years. But I certainly send along my best to the future councilors, first of all. But I will repeat what I said earlier, and that is that I have the utmost confidence in members of this council that I consider my colleagues currently. And it's been an absolute, I'll say pleasure, sometimes a little tumultuous, but I believe in my heart and in my mind that everyone that I've worked with or maybe have had some opposition with has had the best interest of this community at heart. So thank you so much for all that you do. Keep working hard, and I'm just gonna stop. It's been an exciting 3 years, and I look forward to my next endeavors. Take care. God bless you.
Thank you, Councilor Nash, and I wish you the best of luck in whatever you do, and look forward to working with you in whatever capacity that you can assist in the town in the future. So thank you. Councilor Mann.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. So I'd like to thank everyone for their well wishes too. It's been a pleasure working with all of you. I mean, there's times we, like I said earlier, we don't agree, but like Councilor Nash said, yeah, we all have the best interest of the town at heart. And, you know, not everybody can agree on everything. I mean, what kind of a world would it be, right? I remember meeting Councilor Nash for the very first time when I worked at a chemical company out in Chicopee. He came in and we started talking, and I'm like, oh, you should get involved in town. Remember that, Rick? So,
sure do. Yep.
And there he is. So it's been a pleasure. You know, and I might be a little bit lengthy, and I'm sorry because I know it's late, but this is just something that's so near and dear to my heart. So I got involved in town back in 2008, really involved when a crack house popped up on my street. Maple Street, Dead End Street, Historic District, who would have ever thought a crack house would end up on this street? So I got involved with the police department. I learned a lot about what was going on in the police department. I remember Detective Dingy, well, he's Sergeant Detective now, Carlos, coming over to us after all the neighborhood, after everything was said and done, and he apologized for it taking so long to get off the street. And I didn't think that it took so long. I thought it was going to take longer because of all the investigating and everything that they have to do and whatnot. And I said to Detective Dingy at the time, I said, how can I help? And he said, talk to your town council. And I did, and I just never shut up. So some people might like that, some people might not, but it's okay because it really got me involved in it. I got to know Chief Charette, and I got to know Jose Dingy, Deputy Chief Dingy. I got more involved and learned more about the Cops and Kids program and everything that they do in town. I got to know a lot of people, and it really felt good to just give back to my community. And I see so much, and I'm all about safety. I don't ever believe in cutting safety. Fire department, police department, DPW, and I don't believe in, cutting our schools either for education. But safety to me is really important. And what I see our police department do in this community with our kids is just phenomenal. And they try to keep them on the straight and narrow, and they have a very, very good relationship with a lot of these kids in town. And it's so sad to see because of COVID and everything, the Cops and Kids program not happening when it should be this year. Hopefully, they might be able to get something in at the end of the summer, but I don't know if they're going to be able to, which is unfortunate. It's too bad that a lot of communities in America couldn't take note on what goes on in our town. They could get a good lesson on, community policing, because that's what I believe our police department does, is community policing. They go out into the community and they are active with the kids, and people in general. And so seeing what's going on across the country, it's very heartbreaking for me. First of all, seeing what happened to George Floyd, that should never have happened. Never, ever in a million years should that have happened. And, those officers, all those officers involved, they've been arrested, they're going to trial and everything. I just gotta say this, one bad cop doesn't make all cops bad. Just like one bad person doesn't make all people bad. And I see that logic being applied into society today. All cops are bad. Last Saturday, I was at a rally in Boston to show support for law enforcement. And we, the small group, there was probably about 100 to 125 people in front of the State House, were counter protested by about 1,000 people. And they were all young millennials, all of them. Maybe 1% were older, but the majority, they were all young millennials. And to hear them say, all cops are racist, all cops are pigs, all cops, we hate all cops. And to see what they were doing and just to hear the hatred, vile, come out of their mouths. And I was just like, I feel bad. I feel bad for, the next, 10 years or so. I don't know. That's our future. That's our future out there, wanting to defund the police departments and having no respect. You have to respect people to get respect back. A lot of the people I've never walked in their shoes, right? So, but they've never walked in my shoes either. I was called a racist. I was called a Nazi. I was told that I abused somebody because the cloth piece of a flag I was holding touched his arm. So he must have been about 18, 19 years old. He took his bullhorn, he put up to my ear, and he just started screaming in my ear. And this is the type of stuff that I dealt with, but the police are dealing with it 10 times more. And it's just awful. And I just want to say, our police department, and I know we are in a crunch, but the report that we had done said our police department should have been up to 40. And, I still believe that we should be at full capacity at 40, what that report says. And I know you're not going to, I hope you're not going to not support the police department, but please don't get on the bandwagon and get on that. We need to defund the police and put social workers out there, because you know what? Social workers, that crowd of 1,000 kids, they were angry, hateful, angry. And if they could have gotten over those railings, let me tell you, we would have been, there would have been. Anyways, I'll stop and just say, I want to say thank you to our police department for serving our community in the capacity that they do. And I think other cities and towns should take a look at the Cops and Kids program and all that we do. And thank you to our fire department too for what they do, because they go out there too and they need the police to protect them. And sometimes they're here to help the police in such a capacity. So, and again, thank you to all the counselors, current and past, that I've worked with. And thank you for the community for allowing me 7 years to serve you. And that's it. I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Did I forget anybody else once I go to Councilor Daniel? Forget everybody, right? Okay. Councilor Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the council. I also would like to offer my congratulations and thanks to Councilors Nash and Vanna for the wonderful work that they've done, for being the conscience of the council. Both of you keeping us on track and reminding us about what it is that we're here for. I definitely appreciate that. And to Councilor Nash, special thank you. Back a few years ago when I was a citizen member of EHS, you kind of saw that I had the appetite and you cultivated it a little bit. You showed me the ropes, and I don't have any regrets whatsoever. You told me it'd be a lot of work. You were wrong. It's more than a lot of work. It's an incredible amount of work, but it's something that I enjoy. I truly enjoy. And the pleasure of serving the community is something that I can't describe. And because of you, I appreciate realizing that opportunity. So thank you very much. That's all I have. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the Town Council is on Monday, July 6, 2020, for the Town Council 46th seating reorganizational meeting at 7 p.m. in council chambers, followed by a regular Town Council meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. And again, thank you all for tonight. 71 items to get it done before 11 o'clock is a testament to the efficiency that we tried to work under. And thank you all for the patience to go through that agenda, lengthy agenda. Councilman, Councilor Nash, wish you the best of luck and hope to see you at some future meetings. And I will definitely reach out to you for the charter review, because you're at the top of the list. Okay. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll take that as a motion by Councilor Nash, seconded by Councilor Manna. Roll call.
Counselor Adams,
Yes.
Counselor Catrona,
Yes.
Counselor Daniel,
Yes.
Counselor Jovan,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Marquetti,
Yes.
Counselor Nash,
Yes.
and Counselor Steves.
Yes. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
Night.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
This